Anytime today, computer.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Talking About Balls. I am Justin George, joined as always by Kyle Price. Kyle, what is going on?
Not much, man. It's been, 2 weeks-ish?
Yeah, absolutely. We are on our official bi-weekly schedule for the off-season, barring any breaking news or schedule conflicts. We'll move some things around, maybe do a back-to-back week and then take 2 weeks off to make up for it, etc. We'll figure it all out, but we are in the off-season, so yeah, it's been 2 weeks. It was much needed because I'll tell more about it in the BS segment. But as you can probably tell from my voice, I'm still recovering from my sickness cold that I got last week. And I feel 100%. It's just congestion, won't go away. But shit happens. With that being said, it is the official 2025 TABbies. We are live, as you can see. Kyle and I are both dressed up. Kyle decided to go with the business casual look, and I am going with the tuxedo T-shirt. And we are
happened to be what I was wearing today, so it just works for both occasions.
It works out perfectly. You kind of look like you're cosplaying Michael Scott, but you're also ready for the TABbies. It's perfect. It's kind of like you need the Kangol hat, your cool date, your date mic. So
I needed to get the hat to fit right in with it. Son of a bitch.
It would have been perfect. But hey, there's always next year. With that being said, we're going to start off. We've got a ton of categories to get to. And again, we always talk about it. George is going to have some as well, I believe. He didn't fill us in, so I assume it'll be a nice surprise when he chimes in with his own awards. But we go in no particular order. We do not even have the same categories. That's the best part about the TABbies. So we will go in whatever order we want. I am literally scrolling through, and I'm just going to.
We do,
but some are opposite, or some are different, some are the same. Yeah. So again, it's going to be all over the place. I am going to start off with, let's go with my favorite TV show from 2024. And again, this does not necessarily mean it came out in 2024. It just means that I watched it in 2024. So the nominees are Shrinking Season 2, Tattooist of Auschwitz, The Penguin, Shogun, and the final season of Curb Your Enthusiasm. And the winner is The Tattooist of Auschwitz. That is my winner. I loved the book. I was so ecstatic when I saw that Peacock was making it into a show. I am obsessed with, for whatever reason, with Holocaust history. I read everything I can. I watch documentaries about World War II and Nazi Germany and Auschwitz and everything Holocaust related. So, yeah, exactly. Thank you, Steve. Steve knows where I work. I love it, and The Tattooist of Auschwitz was great. It really just made me want to go back and reread the book, and again, I'm just obsessed with this kind of stuff, so I thought they did a really good job. All of my nominees, truthfully, could have won. I just finished Season 2 of Shrinking the other day, and I think Season 2 was better than Season 1, and I thought Season 1 was fantastic. That's just one of the best shows out there right now. Penguin, Shogun, Curb Your Enthusiasm, all fantastic shows, but there can only be one winner. Tattooist of Auschwitz gets the first TABbie of the night.
I like it. I'll jump into my first category. I'm going to go with movies of 2024 for me.
Okay.
Again, not necessarily movies that came out last year, even though I do think most of these did come out last year. But my nominees are Wicked. I always mess this name up. Nosferatu, I believe it's called.
Nosferatu.
That was close enough. Horizon Chapter 1, Kevin Costner movie. Gladiator 2. And then Unfrosted, which if you guys have seen, it's on Netflix, I believe, with Jerry.
Absolutely, Jerry Seinfeld.
Jerry Seinfeld, Jerry Stiller. I was on a thread of Reddit earlier of Jerry Stiller stuff. So,
comedic legends.
What's that?
Both comedic legends.
Absolutely. And my winner for this year is Wicked. Well, whenever it gets there, I guess. Wicked. There you go. Love the movie. I've seen the musical a couple times, but the movie did the musical justice. I can't wait for part 2. I think the characters in this one, I think who they got to play the characters in this movie did a fantastic job. I love the music. So my wife and I both enjoyed the movie tremendously. So Wicked takes it for number 1 movie for me for last year.
I have heard nothing but good things. I've yet to watch it, but I do plan on it. I am a big proponent of watching. I love movies and TV shows and stuff to a fault. I plan on watching every Oscar nomination movie that was nominated for an Oscar, even if I don't get them all done before the Oscars on Sunday, because it is a few days away. I'm not going to have time to watch them all by then, but I do plan on watching all of them eventually. I do it every year. It truly was the reason that, long story short, the movie Parasite, that won movie of the year like 10 years ago, I never didn't know anything about it, but I watch all the movies. I loved it. It's in my top 5 of all time. I absolutely love that movie, and I would never have watched it if it weren't for it being nominated for an award, truthfully, because it's the only reason I watched it, and I'm glad that I did. In my opinion, the last few years, the movies have been kind of bland. Last year's nominees, like Zone of Interest, I really liked, but I don't know if it was necessarily like, a game-changing movie. It was really good, but I don't know. We'll see. I do have my own Best Movie of the Year award to give out as well, so we will get into that. But without further ado, we'll get into we're doing a normal show as well. We're just going to intermingle with the awards, and BS is coming to the stage. And I have had a pretty eventful couple of weeks. We took Teddy for her first birthday weekend. We went to Columbus, and we stayed at the Nationwide hotel, conference and hotel, or whatever it's called, or convention and hotel, whatever the fuck. We stayed there, so we were really close to the aquarium. We were really close to Kosai. We did all of those things. Had a really good weekend. It was cool. The hotel was awesome. They had a nice pub there. They had good breakfast every morning. They had, they had a brewery within walking distance next door. We did get hit with that really bad snowstorm because we were there on that Sunday that it hit Northeast Ohio and all of Ohio, basically. So we got blasted with snow down in Columbus, but it is what it is. We actually went that day with all the shitty snow to the Columbus Zoo. And we went there specifically because we were going for their aquarium. I have never been there. I assumed that it was going to be like a huge building connected to the zoo. It is in the very back of the zoo, part of the zoo. So you pay for the zoo and you have to walk the entire thing. And it was freezing cold, snowing, wind, the works. But we had a good time. We made it work. We went to the, I'm an idiot. I didn't wear a jacket because I thought you just park and go right into an aquarium. So I was like, well, I'm not bringing a coat. So I'm walking around the fucking zoo in just a scooter. And it was very cold, probably didn't help my immune system and why I caught this illness. And so the aquarium was really cool. Teddy fucking loved it. We took her to like the huge aquarium where you show like it's twice the size of me height wise. It's just a huge open glass. You see sharks swimming around, fish, everything. She fucking loved it. I knew it would be very entertaining for her. And then we went to Kosai on Monday. Same thing. There was so much shit to do. She loved every second of it. They have a big area for the kids. We took her over there. We had some good meals. We took her to a bunch of shit, came home Monday night. And then I woke up Tuesday and I felt like death. I was super congested. I was just miserable, really bad cold, headache, the works. It was so bad to the point where I took off Tuesday and then I took off Wednesday as well because I still didn't feel good. And I went back to work on Thursday. And when I got back to work, everyone would come up and talk to me and then they'd go, God damn, you sound awful. I'm like, yeah, I know. I probably shouldn't be here today, but I've missed enough work this week. I felt terrible. And then, of course, Teddy got sick. So Friday, we wake up and Teddy's sick. Her birthday party, her first birthday was the 17th, so it was last Monday. And we were supposed to have her first birthday party we're just doing immediate family. And we had to cancel it. It was supposed to be Saturday because Teddy was really sick. So we cancel the party. We push it to this Sunday. And then Tara wakes up on Sunday sick. Tara bounced back really quick. Tara's literally lasted 24 hours. No harm, no foul. Teddy lasted a few days. She got better pretty quickly. I feel fine. It's just I have a congestion in my head that I can't get rid of. I've been taking fucking zinc and elderberry and all that shit, and it just won't go away. So I am congested, but I feel fine. So her birthday party will be this Sunday. We're looking forward to it, and we'll go from there. But yeah, just a bunch of sickness running around in my house. Teddy had her 1 year checkup at the doctor the other day, and went great. She's fantastic, growing at a great rate. They do an iron test, which I don't know if that's kind of a way for them to tell if the babies are getting healthy meals and they're have enough nutrients. And we feed Teddy clean as fuck. She does not get any junk food. We literally just give her protein, vegetables, fruit. She eats a fuck ton of broccoli, which is high in iron. So they take an iron test, and I think the doctor must have a lot of patients where the kids are very iron deficient, because she's like, we need their numbers to be above 10. If it's not above 10, then they have to come back in a couple of months or weeks or whatever. We have to give them supplements. Like, she's giving us the full fucking spiel, and I'm just sitting there going, okay, I think we're going to be fine, but okay. So they draw her blood, they gave her shots, and then they come back 30 seconds later and go, oh yeah, she was like a 13 and a half out of like needed 10. She's way over for the iron. They're like, she's fine. We were like, no shit. So she's good. She got her shot. She took it like a champ, cried for like 5 minutes, and she was fine. No side effects or anything like that. Where she got her measles shot, thank God, because that's now killing people in Texas. And we're very pro vaccinations for children, and Teddy got hers, and I'm very happy about that, especially after the news of a child dying in Texas today from measles. Not a great story, not great parenting in my opinion, but what can you do? So Teddy's good. Everybody's good except for my congestion. I also bought a video game that's like 10 years old. I bought Red Dead Redemption 2.
Oh my God, I fucking love that game.
I have always heard great things about the Red Dead franchise. I love Grand Theft Auto, obviously, and they're both made from Rockstar. My friend at work was hyping up Red Dead Redemption 2. I looked it up. For PS4 on the disc, it was $20 at Target, and I have the Target Red card, so I got 5% off. So I was like, fuck it, I'm buying it. It works on my PS5. So I just installed it last night, played for like an hour. Love it. Truly, if it weren't for having shows to watch with Tara, I would jump off of here at 9 o'clock and go play it, but I don't think I'm going to get to play any tonight. But there's always tomorrow. So looking forward to playing Red Dead Redemption 2, getting myself in the mood for Grand Theft Auto 6, which is projected to come out in the fall of this year. I can't wait, but that's about it for me. But,
we'll see when it comes out. Yeah, high hopes. I played Red Dead twice through, and I can tell you right now, I was not ready for the end game of that game. So it's an emotional heartstring. I'll just tell you that right now.
I was told that you don't need to play the first one in order to play the second. So that's why I jumped right into the second.
First one, but the first one does have some moving parts in the second one because it's a prequel to the first one. So you really kind of knowing the characters a little bit more, but you don't need to play the first one.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. So the second one's a prequel?
Yep.
Oh, then perfect.
Yep. Yeah. So it's a prequel to the first one. So there's characters in the first one that are in this one. And if you ever play the first one, you'll notice the continuation of a character. Mm-hmm. But it'd be weird to go backwards and play one now because of this how your mind's mentally.
What
graphics and everything. Yeah. But anyways, great game. I'll make my BS quick. So what's funny is the weekend before last, I was kind of feeling slightly congested. Like I was coughing, like I had like a hanging cough, but I've been fighting like a respiratory thing for like a month or two, I believe. So I'm like, whatever, it's just a continuation. I'm traveling a lot, whatever, no big deal. Monday, I'm continuing to cough more and more. And then Tuesday, I wake up and I couldn't sleep. I woke up at like 4 o'clock in the morning. I took like a hot shower thinking I just because I was traveling that day. I was getting ready to come down here last week, actually. And I was like, I need to take a hot shower, shake this off, whatever. So I go downstairs and I start like doing some work in the morning. And I just start getting like the shakes, like literal shakes. Like I can't I end up going and throwing up. I throw myself back in the shower and I'm like ice cold. Like I stood over my wife. I'm like, I don't know what's wrong with me. Like I've not been that sick in a very, very long time. So I canceling my week. I basically told my boss, I'm not traveling. I'm not going to get other people sick. I laid back in bed. I had like 6 layers of blankets on me, I feel, and I was still cold. Was in bed. Wednesday, I was in bed half the day. Thursday, I started finally feeling better. I was taking medicine like out the ass every day, not literally out the ass, but taking medicine all week. Friday, I wake up. Friday was the first day I felt somewhat normal, and then Saturday, we went to a night at the races in Parma Parma. If you've ever been to a night at the races, it's basically just like a fundraiser. You get together and you watch horses that already raced on TV. You make side bets, you whatever. We did that. We went there with a group of friends afterwards. We ended up going to the Oreo over in Berea, right there next to Walgreens. Was there for a little bit and then went home. Sunday was kind of just laziness or whatever. And then this week I'm working and I'm down in West Virginia until Friday. So long BS segment, short bait BS segment, but yeah, I feel you. Tuesday I got sick too, man. Funny story is, Colleen, my sister-in-law, Mike's wife, basically said that, being a nurse practitioner, there's all kinds of flus going on. You got flu A, flu B. She said there's a lot of cases of bird flu where people have been getting like extremely sick for like one day and it goes away. She thinks that I had like a small case of bird flu because of how quickly I got over it or how quickly I kind of got through it, that it sounds like a small case of bird flu where you kind of get real sick, so extremely sick, and then it kind of tapers off. Because if you had flu A or flu B, it'd be lingering for a while, it'd hang around for a while, stuff like that. So that and norovirus, you got COVID still, which it's very interesting.
There's a lot going around right now, so that's why, it sucks. I've been, even here at home when I got sick, I did my best to not get Teddy sick. So on Tuesdays, Tara works, and Thursdays, Tara works. So I come home and I'm with Teddy by myself for most of the evening. And Tuesday, again, I called off from work, so Tara let me sleep. I literally napped and slept all fucking day. And then she left for work. I put a mask on. I wore a mask all the time around Teddy. Then at night, I made my bed downstairs in our den. I slept on the couch. Which I'm not gonna lie, Tara hates that I keep saying this, but I've had the best sleep down there. I've actually stayed down there still. I've slept in my room once, and that was Saturday night, because then I woke up Sunday, and that's when Tara's like, "Oh, I feel terrible," and I'm like, "Well, fuck you, I'm not getting it again." So I'm like, I'm going back to the den. So I've been sleeping in the den until tonight. She told me I have to come back to bed, but it's been really nice. But I've been sleeping in the den. I've been wearing a mask, and then trying my best to not get anybody in the house sick. And then, of course, Teddy woke up sick as fuck on Friday. But luckily with her, it wasn't that bad. Last time she was sick, when she had her ear infection, that one lasted for days. This one, she had a fever for literally about 12 hours. Then it broke, and she's been really good. She has a little bit of a cough, but she's been a trooper. She's been completely fine. So luckily it wasn't bad.
Luckily, knock on wood, Jess hasn't gotten sick yet. She usually has a shitty. She has like a lingering thing, but she has a shitty immune system anyways, but luckily she hasn't gotten what I got. But I catch everything. I get sick so easily. That's why I'm trying to take elderberry and stuff. I don't know what it is. If I need to just boost my body with B12 or vitamin C or whatever, I get sick so easily. And now that I have a kid, the older she gets, she's going to be hanging around more little fucking shit kids. And I'm wondering if that's kind of what contributed to it was the cold weather, quote unquote, weakens your immune system. I don't blame the cold for getting sicknesses. It's germs. But we went to the aquarium. There were a bunch of kids there. Then we went to COSI, which was just full of kids because it was President's Day. So they're not normally open on Mondays, but they were open on President's Day specifically because schools are closed. And it was just obviously packed with kids. I woke up a little congested down in Columbus on President's Day while we were still there. So I was like, I don't think I'm getting sick. I'm just a little stuffed up, but whatever. And then we went to COSI. Then the next morning it was fucking lights out. I was done for. So, I just catch everything. So, trying to shake it, but just get the warm weather here already. Kill the germs.
That's what I need. The 50 degrees we had yesterday, I took Teddy up to the fucking park. We live right here in the Parkway. The Metro Parks. We went up there. I took her for a walk yesterday, even though it was only for like a half hour because it was a little chilly out. I had her wrapped up in a blanket and shit, but put her in her stroller. We went for a nice little walk, just getting some fresh air, enjoying a 50-degree day. Yeah, and we're supposed to get another inch of snow on Saturday, so it's going down quick.
It was like 60 down here today. It was nice. We were outside walking around, falling, knocking on doors for customers. But walking outside and stuff, it was just so nice down here. I miss this weather,
Fuck yeah, I cannot wait. I look out my window every day and I'm like, dude, I just want to enjoy my yard. I can't wait till it's a nice night where I can literally just sit on my patio or porch, whichever, and fucking listen to Tom Hamilton, Guardians game. It's hot. Have a couple beers, just fucking enjoy it. I can't wait. But without further ado, here's a curveball for George. Let's see if he's ready for it. I don't even know which one I want. Let's go with Steve, I talked to Kyle before the show started. No cuck chair in this hotel. His company,
Unfortunately,
just
I've got
paying for it, opted for no cuck.
2 queen beds here, so unfortunately, there's no cuck chair in this one. They have a bench, but that's for luggage. You know, it doesn't count as a cuck.
I feel like it's even worse. Kyle has
the luggage
cuck bed.
A cuck bed, yes, but I guess the luggage bench could also be used as a cuck bench where people just.
I like to think that the person is such a cuck that while they're cucking, they just go to sleep. They're like, "All right, you guys have fun," and they just go to sleep. That's what the cuck bed's for. That's even worse than the chair.
That's a committed husband right there. I'm just gonna go to sleep. Enjoy yourself, honey.
He's like, "Yeah, you guys have fun. Just try to keep it down. I'm a little tired." I'm gonna go with my next category. Here is my favorite comedy special of 2024. Spoiler alert: my Just the Tip is a comedy special that just came out, so it didn't.
You know what I'm watching tonight after the show then, because I didn't know he released a new one, so I guess I'll be watching that one.
It's really good. So my favorite comedy special of 2024, Dave Attell, Hot Cross Buns, that was released on Netflix. Nick Swardson, Make Jokes from Face, I believe that was on Amazon. Connor O'Malley, Stand Up Solutions, is on YouTube. Anthony Jeselnik, Bones and All, that's on Netflix. And Dane Cook's Above It All, I believe, is on YouTube also. So check those out if you're interested. And without further ado, my favorite special of 2024, and this should be no surprise to anybody, Anthony Jeselnik, Bones and All. He is one of my favorite comedians of all time, so he is, of course, going to win. Those other specials are really funny, though. Dave Attell is one of the
not his best one, but he should still always win.
No, there's still plenty of quotable jokes, and it's still really funny. Yeah. But not his greatest, but still fantastic, and in my opinion, the best special I watched in 2024. There were a few that I left off because I didn't really like them. I'm a huge Impractical Jokers fan, and Sal Vulcano, he put out a special last year called Terrified. I believe it's on YouTube. Not for me. Didn't really like it. I think those guys should stick to doing their show, because I also watched Joe Gatto. He just put out a special on Hulu, and I watched it last week or whatever. Didn't really do it for me. I didn't really enjoy it. I think those guys are better off doing Impractical Joker stuff and should focus less on stand-up, but that's just my opinion.
I can't imagine that either one of them have great delivery on stage, But
no, it doesn't do it for me. I'm a very big stand-up fan. I'll watch just about anything stand-up related to an extent, because right now it's overkill. There's so many specials on every fucking platform. I can't watch them all. So I do try to watch as many ones that I'm really interested in. And these were some of my favorites. Dave Attell is one of the funniest comics of all time. He's a career club comic. He is he's a road dog. I saw him when he came to Cleveland, where he actually was working on this material. He plays a recorder. If you remember your recorder from second or third grade, they made everybody play it. He brings it out. That's part of his gimmick, is hey, I actually learned how to play Hot Cross Buns. That's why the special's called Hot Cross Buns. Nick Swartzen's one of my favorite comedians of all time. His special called Party from 2006 or 2007 is truly one of my favorite stand-up specials of all time. I have it on CD, and I still quote it all the fucking time. If you ever hear me say, "Where are my pants?" or "Who fucking farted?" that's directly from Nick Swartzen's special, and it is one of the best of all time if you ever get a chance to listen to it. Connor O'Malley is not a well-known comedian. He is an actor from one of my favorite shows called I Think You Should Leave, that's on Netflix. He put out a special. It is not anything like you've seen before. He's not up there just telling jokes. He is actually, it's almost like he's doing a presentation for a business, and he's showing people how to do comedy, but it's a really funny way. He's extremely fucking goofy. I really enjoyed it. And then Jeselnik won. And then Dane Cook, Above It All, not his best special by a mile. I mean, obviously Dane Cook was the shit in the mid-2000s, but I'm a huge Dane Cook fan, so he got a nominee for me.
I like it. I'm just gonna go in order of mine. So mine's gonna be Music Artist of the Year for me. So again, these are not people who are brand new, because there are some old people on this one. But my music artist picks for 2024 are Luke Combs, Eminem, of course, always gonna make the list, Morgan Wallen, Post Malone, and Linkin Park. And without further ado, the winner for me for 2024 Artist of the Year is Linkin Park. They dropped a new album this year for the first time since R.I.P. Chester passed away. But I will say I was pleasantly surprised. I did not know what to expect going into it. I did not know what to expect with the female voice, but I will say that she, obviously nothing lives up to the original, but she has done well, especially the new music. Watching her, listening to her play some of the old stuff just hasn't clicked for me yet. But the album by itself, I think, is a really good album. I think from start to finish, it's a lot of good songs on there. So Linkin Park for this, at least for this, takes it for 2024 for me.
Nice. Yeah, I actually heard some of their songs. They when they dropped their first single with the new lineup, it was pretty good. They were playing it on Rover. Part of me feels like when you get a new singer like that, they should change the name. I feel like it's it's weird. You're known as your lead people, whether that's your front man, whether that's like a key contributed member. Like if Rush tried to come back with a new drummer, that's not Rush. One of my favorite bands.
That name that you had that trademark to, man. You got it. That's the moneymaker name right there.
Yeah, I guess it's weird. Like Steve, if Steve's still watching, he can attest. There's a band that we both really like called the Amity Affliction. They're from Australia. I'm a huge fan, and their clean singer, he, I guess, was having some like addiction issues, and as most of their band always did, the lead singer left for a while to go get help and went to rehab. He got sober. Apparently, their other singer. He was having some issues staying sober, and they kind of kicked him out of the band, and didn't kick him out of the band. They basically told him like, go get your shit cleaned up. And he's not doing that. And they are now feuding, and they made a huge post that he's out of the band. He's now threatening to sue them because he's like, I created the Amity Affliction. It's my fucking band. So he's constantly posting like shit on them and saying like, oh, the lead singer cheats on his wife all the time. Like it's fucking getting grimy. And I love them. I'm glad. Unfortunately, I don't think Steve had the privilege of seeing them live. I did multiple times, but it's never going to be the same. Like to me, when you lose a key player like that, I could never I have no interest in seeing them live ever again without him, because I think he brings a huge persona and like face to the band.
Van Halen would be called overrated, George. They're called overrated.
Yeah. So what would Van Halen be called? Garbage, in my opinion. I don't like Van Halen. So. The Amity Affliction's still touring. They're about to go on tour, a headlining tour with Many Eyes, another band that broke up. Every Time I Die, when they split up, their lead singer created Many Eyes, and they're opening for the Amity Affliction. So if it was close, none of the shows are even close to Cleveland, but if they were, it was one I would have gone to, but not anymore.
I love some of these names of these bands. You think just go online and do like a random name generator and just kind of hit the button until something makes sense and connects? Let's go with Many Eyes.
100%. Especially like when Warped Tour was huge, like back in like 2007 ish, that time frame, there were so many fucking crazy band names that I loved it. Like there was one like I Wrestled a Bear Once, Hello Goodbye, Red Jumpsuit Apparatus, so many fucking funny names.
Random name generator.
Loved all those. Like I was so excited. Like truly one of my favorite bands of all time. And the lead singer, another instance of the lead singer, he died. He OD'd. Scary Kids, Scaring Kids. That's the name of the band. They were truly my favorite band. I was obsessed with them. I saw them every time they came to Cleveland. I met them. I have all their albums. Then the lead singer OD'd in like fucking 2012 or something like that. And they're now trying to come back with different people. Like they made an album where they had like a different singer on every song. And for me, it's just not the same. The lead singer had such a great voice that I gave up on the band after he died. But it sucks. Like I it's hard for me to follow bands when the main members are out, except for Blink-182. That's the only one that I stuck with, and then it all worked out in the end. But I don't see that happening for some of these other bands. Motionless in White, another fucking crazy band name. There's so many weird ones, dude. Again, go look at a fucking a Warped Tour lineup from like 2005 to 2012. Like Devil Wears Prada, one of my favorite bands. I'm a huge fan of them.
Great movie. Love it. Respect.
Never seen it, to be honest, but I'm very familiar with the band. They are a Christian metal band, and they're really good. So, yeah, check it all out. Let's do one more award just because we have a shitload here, and I am going to go with one that Kyle and I both have. I feel like we could just tag team these. Favorite podcast. So my favorite podcast, I've talked about some of these before, but my nominees are Bad Friends with Andrew Santino and Bobby Lee. This Is Important with the guys from Workaholics, and Tosh Show with Daniel Tosh. And the winner is This Is Important. I fucking love Workaholics, one of my favorite TV shows of all time. Those guys, I didn't know they had a podcast until they had already made like 100 plus episodes. So I went back and I listened from the very beginning, and I am now fully caught up. And I listen every week religiously, everything they do. I think they're funny as fuck. I literally, like, every episode has me laughing my ass off. The way Blake runs the fucking soundboard and has these perfect sound bites, and the way they just rag on each other. It's so funny. It's truly my favorite podcast. The close second was Bad Friends. I love the Bad Friends podcast. Same thing. just discovered it. I'm very familiar with Andrew Santino and Bobby Lee, but I didn't listen to their podcast until probably like around fall of 2024. And I went back, listened from the very beginning, listened to all 200 plus episodes, and I am fully caught up on that show as well, as embarrassing as that is of how much I listen to podcasts. But that's all I do at work is I have a headphone in and I'm listening to something. So Bad Friends was a really close second. Tosh Show is also a great podcast if you get a chance. But those are my main 3 podcasts that I listen to regularly. So check them out if you can, but I highly recommend This Is Important. It is funny as fuck. They were just at the Super Bowl a few weeks ago. They actually interviewed like Tyreek Hill, and it's just great shit. It's literally funny as hell.
Well, I'll do my podcast one real quick then too. So my nominations for podcast, I love the fact that I gave 5 for every one of mine, so George had to type more. It's amazing. Bad Friends looks like 2 nominations here. You Missed History Class, which I love. I love that show. I mean, just a lot of cool. I'm a huge history person. You can tell by some of my podcasts. Slow Burn, which if you haven't watched, if you listened to it before, it really kind of just dives deep into some of the BS from back in like early politics and stuff. Really goes into detail, like Whitewater and JFK assassination, stuff like that. History That Doesn't Suck, which means just another word for history that's not boring. And Smartless, which would have been my winner until you turned me on to Bad Friends. And Bad Friends definitely took the lead. And my
so good.
Bad Friends. I mean, I honestly played like highlight videos on YouTube to Jess the other night so she could like watch what I'm watching, because those two together, like this. The one I just watched, because I just got stuck on it because I'm a huge, like, obviously video game fan. But the one with Sketch, when they brought Sketch on,
that was such a good episode.
The back and forth with those guys, like he needs to be on that special guest on that show sometimes. I feel like that was such a fucking hilarious episode.
The clip where they asked him, they were like, "What weight class do you think Bobby was?" And he goes, "I thought sumo was one weight." And they all just look at each other and they're like when Bobby looks with a straight face and just goes, "That's a good joke." Like, I fucking love that kind of stuff. They're all so funny together. Their chemistry is great. I fucking love it.
It's amazing. The back and forth.
It's such a good podcast.
They get away with, and it's just funny to me. Like
Santino's impressions, and when he does like Asian accents and stuff like that, he's so good at it. Like, I'm Bobby Mom. I fucking love it. It's so fucking funny, dude. I can watch their clips all day. My Instagram, because my algorithm, or I'm sorry, my Facebook, like Reels or whatever the fuck they're called, are like 99% Bad Friends clips, because I watch them all. I've seen every episode, or listened to it, I should say, but I watch all those clips because it's so good.
Clips, friend. You cannot be a Bad Friends.
You really can't. They're all so good. I just laugh, and Tara's like, "What are you watching?" I'm like, Bad Friends.
Not only a second though, if you haven't watched it, Smartless. If you get a chance to watch it because that's a really good podcast too. Like
I've watched a few. Like they had the one with Howard Stern that I think was like a Sirius XM exclusive or whatever. I checked that out. Like I'm a big Jason Bateman, Will Arnett, and who's the other one? Sean Hayes.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of those guys. They have a really good podcast.
Picked on so much on that show, but Sean Hayes does. He's like the guy in the middle who gets picked on, but. It's really good though. So yeah, that's my winner for the year. Bad Friends for 2024.
Classic. Now we will get into some real shit. We'll get into the show. We'll talk a little Brownies here because there's of course a little bit of news. The Browns the other day released Charlie Hewlett, and there are some fans out there that were upset about it, of course, because he was at the time one of the longest tenured Cleveland Browns, and they unfortunately released him, but it saved them some decent money. He was a long snapper. Pretty replaceable, in my opinion. He was making good money for a long snapper. You could find an undrafted free agent to do that job and pay him a quarter, if not less, of what Charlie Hewlett was making. So it happens. Charlie Hewlett was an Iron Man. He didn't miss any. See you, Steve.
Later, Steve.
Steve, by the way, if you're still there, we have some representatives coming from your company. I won't name any names, but the one from Chicago, they're actually coming to my establishment tomorrow to watch some material. As soon as I heard the name of the company that was coming to watch the material, I was like, "Oh shit, is Steve coming?" And they were like, "No, this is the Chicago location." But shout out to Steve. Congratulations, by the way, on your promotion this week, Steve. I don't want to spill any beans here or anything and say too much, but congrats, man. Really happy for you. That's awesome.
Chair maker. Congratulations, Steve.
Yeah, Steve is the head cuck chair creator at the Cuck Chair Factory. They're called Cuck Chair Imposium, and Mike Reach, Tony Triola. Are those the guys that are coming tomorrow? Or are these the names of your top Cuck employees, salesmen?
Mike Reach would work, I think.
Mike Reach, he's calling him right now, and he's like, You didn't fucking sell one to the hunt. Where are you at? The West Virginia fucking
Huntington.
Motel 6 or wherever the hell Kyle's at. You didn't sell them a cuck chair? What the fuck? Yeah, dude, absolutely, man. Congratulations. I can't wait till you're my boss one day. Nick Kaufman. Oh, shit. I went to high school with the Nick Kaufman. I hope it's not the same guy. But yeah, so the Browns did release Charlie Hewlett. He was a long-tenured Cleveland Brown. He was an Iron Man, didn't miss any games. And then he looks like the dentist from The Hangover. Ed Helms. Hell yeah. I'm excited to meet him tomorrow. I'm assuming I'll meet him. I don't know. It's not my routine. It's Mark's situation. But yeah, so Charlie Hewlett was an Iron Man, didn't miss any games for his entire career until this year. He unfortunately got hurt, went on IR, missed a huge chunk of the season. Later, dude, be safe. I'll talk to you soon. And then the other news that came out that everybody is up in arms. The Cleveland Browns and Andrew Berry announced that they are letting Nick Chubb explore free agency, whether this is a move for him to test the market to see what his value is, or if this is their way of saying you can go. I think it's the latter. I think he's going. The reason I think that is because Nick Chubb's 30 years old. Nick Chubb suffered one of the most gruesome knee injuries I've ever seen as a pro
twice
and as a collegiate athlete.
Yeah.
He came back. I think it's safe to say, let's not sugarcoat it. He did not look like himself. Did I expect him to look like himself? No, because of that injury. Do I think he could get better? No, if I'm being honest. You don't get better at that age. I also feel like he was less impactful. And then what did he do to end the season? He suffered another season-ending injury by breaking a foot in his bone. I know that's not like a regular occurrence, but that's something to look at, is that he has now missed the end of the last 2 seasons. He's had season-ending injuries. Again, he's 30 years old, if not older. I don't know exact age, but he's around that age, which in the NFL is a fucking dinosaur. And I think it's a right move for the Cleveland Browns to let him go. We do need to get younger and more athletic at the running back position, and it's unfortunate that Nick Chubb's tenure is likely done, but that's just the way it goes. This is a fucking business at the end of the day. I'm not interested in the Browns holding on to every player that I like, because they need to try to win games. They're doing what's best for the team. Whether you love or hate Andrew Berry, I know obviously he's been getting a ton of hate because of this move with Nick Chubb, or this announcement, I should say. But I don't think it's a bad decision. It's a smart football decision. Remember when the Dallas Cowboys let Ezekiel Elliott go? Todd Gurley switched teams. Joe Mixon just got let go by the fucking Bengals last year. Saquon Barkley got let. Like, teams let running backs go all the time, because running backs, I hate to say it, yes, you can get a really, really good one like Saquon Barkley or Nick Chubb in his prime, but they're also kind of a dime a dozen.
Or Mixon. Mixon was a good pickup.
Joe Mixon was really good with Cincinnati. He was okay. And then he went to Houston, had a great year. Will that success continue? Who knows? He's not getting any younger, but that's just the NFL. I mean, look at Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan Taylor was an MVP candidate. Then he went on the next year and sucked ass. Then he came back and had a pretty decent year. Running backs kind of are up and down. They take a ton of hits. You think about it, they're getting crushed in high school. They're running backs, so they're getting tackled constantly. There's a lot of miles on their legs. Then they go to college, they get tackled a bunch. They get a ton of hits. Come to the NFL, they're getting hit more than any other player on the field. So I don't know. It's a tough position to play, and I just think it's a right business decision for the Cleveland Browns to let Nick Chubb go.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it sucks because obviously, we look at Nick Chubb as like the icon of the Browns, the one highlight aside from Myles Garrett. And it's been a rough offseason for Browns fans with the potential of Myles Garrett leaving, and now Nick Chubb. And I think Nick Chubb's gone. I think he'll sign with another team that give him like a split carry kind of deal. And
just ideally stay out of the AFC, and most importantly, stay out of the AFC North. That's all I ask. Don't go to Pittsburgh. Don't go to Cincinnati. And I don't think Baltimore. Fuck, imagine him and Derrick Henry. Don't go to Baltimore, please, Nick. Yeah,
that would be interesting. And I was going to mention that Derrick Henry. Look, he had like a down year the year before he went to the Ravens, right?
I didn't even think about him. There's another guy. Yeah, we'll take him in San Fran. You can have him, George. Honestly.
But no, unfortunately, it sucks. And you're right. Browns fans, we're emotional. We're emotional beings. We attach ourselves. We think we can ride Nick Chubb for the next 4 years, right, to a Super Bowl. That window closed, unfortunately, last year or the year before.
When that Micah Parsons hit came, that was when I was like, fuck, that's it for Nick Chubb. Like, I knew it right then. That was like the most devastated I've ever felt, because I was like, you're not recovering from that. That's not like he'll come back better than ever. Like, no, he's fucked. I knew it.
Nick Chubb run this year, he looked like he was running at 60% of his normal speed. He didn't have the cut.
He didn't have the power. He didn't have the speed. He doesn't have the ability to cut like he used to. Now he has a broken foot that he's recovering from. So you have major knee injuries, a broken foot. You're 30. It's like, dude, it's over.
I know a certain somebody who is probably sad because a lot of
their
is going to go maybe potentially down in value. So I don't know, but oh well. But yeah, you know what, it is what it is. As we have a lot more bigger issues to worry about as a Browns organization than what Nick Chubb's going to do. So I think it's the right move. I think we're financially making right moves right now, and I think if we stand back and look at it from afar, it makes sense. But obviously, we're just too close to it, and a lot of people are just up in arms about it. I'm more up in arms about the fucking grade card that dropped today than anything else. But that's just me. So
yeah. So one more really quick thing before we get into that. So Juan Thornhill was also released. He was a free agent signing from the Kansas City Chiefs right after they won the Super Bowl. He was here for 2 years. He was injured for most of the time. The one funny thing, again, to show you how stupid Browns fans are, they try to hold that against Andrew Berry. They're like, what a fucking stupid signing. This guy sucks as a GM. Juan Thornhill was the number one safety in free agency. There were a lot of teams coming after him. He came to Cleveland because he believed in them. If you look at the money that he made in Cleveland, he really was underpaid, to be honest. And it didn't cost the Browns that much money. I think he was like making $7 million a year or something like that, which for a safety is pretty cheap. And Browns fans still decided to go, Andrew Berry fucking sucks. Like we signed a really good player. Again, he was the number one safety free agent, and they got him for a really good deal. So it is what it is. He came here coming off a Super Bowl win where he was a key player on that team and just sucked in Cleveland, but not without trying. Like it's not like we signed him and he sucked and then he came here and was still bad. He was really, really good. Should have worked here. He was the perfect type of player for our defense. He just couldn't stay healthy and he wasn't very good. So sometimes you swing and miss, but I think that was a good move by the Browns. I don't understand why people were up in arms about it now. But to Kyle's point, yeah, the NFL did their yearly, I guess you could call it a team review. They interview players and ask them their thoughts on specific things, whether it's the facilities, the diet and kitchen area, how they treat family, locker rooms. They literally want your opinion on everything. They take all that information and you get graded. Last year, the Browns were 23rd out of the 32 NFL teams. Not exactly in the middle, kind of on the lower end, but not that bad. This year, 30th. 30 out of 32. And it's funny because I look at a guy like Daryl Ryder, who has turned into the biggest fucking crybaby on social media about everything for the Browns. It is crazy. You would think we did not make the playoffs twice in the last 5 years, the way Daryl Ryder is on there crying. He tweeted today about it and said, geez, can you imagine why Myles Garrett wants out of Cleveland? Look at this grade here. Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry are ruining this franchise, whatever the fuck he's saying. And I replied to him. I rarely do, but today I kind of felt like the need to. And I said, last year they were 23rd. Literally nothing changed with the head coach, with the front office, with the locker room, with any of that kind of shit. All that changed is we sucked this year. So I said, you just have a bunch of disgruntled employees. That's all it is. They're pissed off because we sucked. So they're giving everything a bad rating. Last year, same head coach, same GM, same fucking lockers, same locker room. We were 23rd. What changed other than the record?
Nothing much. Nothing at all. Like nothing much. But I'm looking at some of these rankings. It's funny. It's what's hilarious to me is just some of the rankings they give, like the safety or the fitness, the training staff ranks 32 out of 32 basically. The training room ranks bottom 32 out of 32. This is the best one. 50% of the players feel they have enough hot tub space, ranked 32 out of 32. So clearly, we're not fans of hot tubs in Berea.
No, not at all. And I mean, talk about fucking first world whiny bitch problems for these NFL players.
Back in the day, size is not big enough. 29% of players feel the locker room. 31 out of 32. Well, that's going to get settled in 3 years or 4 years.
Yeah, I think it's going to improve a little bit, unless it means the locker room area at the training facility. I don't know which, they weren't specific on that, but yeah, I feel like if some of these players can hold on and be in Cleveland in 2028 or 2029, whenever the first game there, I think it's going to be pretty fucking nice. I don't know.
It's like playing a game of Madden franchise where you upgrade the locker room space and everybody gets happy again, right? So
yeah, I mean, clearly there's a plan in place. Jimmy Haslam has never been afraid to spend money. And again, nothing changed since last year when they were 23rd out of 32, and now all the players are like, "This sucks."
Thing to pile on the Nick Chubb, Myles Garrett, now grade card, Deshaun Watson shit that's hanging over our head right now. It's just a big meat sandwich right now.
Because remember, I think it was last year when they came out that the Bengals were like the worst rated team, which they've always had. The Bengals are known for being cheap. That's why like everybody said, I don't think they're going to be able to keep Joe Burrow and fucking Jamar Chase because they're so cheap. Then they sold the rights to their stadium name because they got all that fucking money they needed to pay them somehow. And they were rated like dead last with everything. Players were like, the fucking facilities are garbage. Everything sucks here in Cincinnati. But they're still a good team. So, like, these ratings really don't matter, in my opinion.
I picture the hot tub for Major League where they have, like, the kickstart it to get it going, to put the quarters in the machine to kind of get the hot tub going again.
You have to pay for it, or like Moneyball where the drinks aren't free.
Yeah.
And, George, I've been in the training facility as well. I won a VIP tour many years ago from Sherwin-Williams, and I toured the facility. It's fucking awesome in there, dude. Again, these guys are fucking whiny crybabies. Imagine being treated like a fucking god in the city of Cleveland and being a professional football player and being like, oh, yeah, there's not enough hot tubs or there's too many hot tubs. Like, complaining about shit like that is fucking crazy to me. And again, Browns fans are going to take this and they are going to hold it against Jimmy Haslam and the Browns and Andrew Berry and everything. But
it's just one of those perfectly timed scenarios to add to everything else that makes
that's the only reason it's becoming like if the Browns were coming off a 12-win season and we had a franchise quarterback and we were ready to keep going and try to win a Super Bowl and they still ranked 30th out of 32, no one would give a fuck. It would be a story for 10 minutes. Now, tomorrow on the radio, because I think it came out like after Ken Carman and all them were done. Well, Ken Carman's on vacation, but I think the radio shows tomorrow are just going to be fucking full of people talking about this. But personally, it's word salad. It's nonsense.
That we have the best basketball team in the NBA in our city. No. The grade card is going to take most of the airtime.
Yeah. Spring training just started. The best team in the NBA is fucking on fire. They blew out the Orlando Magic yesterday, who took them to 7 games with JB Bickerstaff. Not that it's the same. I get it. Playoffs are not the same as the regular season. They beat them by 40 yesterday. And the funny thing was the Magic came out before the game and they were like, we're facing the best team in the league. We have the number 1 defense in all of the NBA. We need to go out there. It's a must-win situation. They called it a must-win game, and they got blown out by 40 points. And again, they average only giving up like 104 points a game. They have the number 1 defense in the NBA. Cavs scored 132 or something like that, and they did it, or maybe it was 122, and they did it with most of the starters not even playing in the fourth quarter. So Orlando, eat a dick. The Cavs are real. However, I'm not going to lie to you. The one thing I'm a little nervous about with the Cavs is they struggle against really good teams, and their next game Friday night against the Celtics is a huge test because they do not play the Celtics well. Celtics beat their ass the last time they played them. The Celtics are the team to beat. They're the defending champions.
Hunter, man, we brought Hunter in for this game alone. This is the reason we brought Hunter in right now.
100%. And I mean, we beat the Oklahoma City Thunder the first time we played them, and we played them the second time. They beat our ass. So that's a fun little split. That could be a fun potential finals matchup. And then the Celtics, on the other hand, again, that's a team you're more than likely going to have to go through in the Eastern Conference Finals. And they have our number.
Fun fact, Hunter deal, we are 6-0. We are number 1 in offensive rating, number 1 in defensive rating, number 1 in net rating, number 1 in rebounds per game, and number 1 in bench points per game since the Hunter trade. Number 1 in the NBA right now.
All of those games have been without Darius Garland, who suffered a hip injury against the Knicks last week. He hasn't played the last 2 games. And I want to give a real quick shout out to a guy we don't talk about a lot on the show, and I don't think he gets as much love in the city as he should, Ty Jerome. Ty Jerome legitimately should be a 6th man of the year contender.
He comes with a contract right now. He is definitely.
He's going to earn a fuck ton of money. They are going to back a Brinks truck up. He is averaging like 20 plus points a game. I think I saw a stat today that he's actually he's in the top 30 or something like that of points per game in the NBA. Or I forgot. I wish I could remember the stat, but he comes off the bench and he's one of the most efficient, best players in the league.
We have him for another year, or is this our only year with him?
He's a free agent. We had him for 2 years. We had him last year. He missed the whole season. He is a free agent, impending free agent this year, and I don't think he's staying because the Cavs could pay him. You're allowed to overpay your own and go into the luxury tax. But I don't think we're going to even be close to being able to afford what Ty Jerome's going to get on the open market. And good for him. I would love to see him stay in Cleveland, especially now that we have DeAndre Hunter, because they're really good friends. They played at Virginia together. But I don't see him staying. And rightfully so. He's going to get life-changing money going to another team that's going to pay him a ton. I wish him all the best, but I love every minute of him being on the team right now.
NBA Finals, baby. Let's go. Let's just make it worth it. Let's just make this year fucking worth it. That's all I'm saying.
Speaking of going to the finals, which we all hope, I have a category here called Favorite Cleveland Sports Moment.
Nice.
And the nominees for that award, without further ado, as we wake up George. There we go. The Browns versus the Steelers Thursday night football game in the blizzard, where the first half was completely normal on a grass field and the second half was in a snow globe. Jameis Winston was doing snow angels after the game. We beat Pittsburgh. Always great to beat Pittsburgh. One of only 3 wins, which is fucking cool. Awesome game, awesome win. Thursday night football, it was huge. Did it change the season? Not at all, but it was really fun to watch and a great game. Same thing. Guardians-Yankees game 3. Yankees come to town up 2-0. Guardians blow it. Well, Emmanuel Clase blows it in the 9th inning. He gives up 2 home runs, one to Aaron Judge and one to Giancarlo Stanton. Yankees take the lead into the bottom of the 9th until one big Christmas. John Kenzie Noel crushes a home run into the bleachers to tie the game. And then in the bottom of the 9th with a runner on, David Fry hits a fucking moonshot to send the Yankees to the showers with a big L. That would be it, though. The Guardians would not be able to overcome that series, and Emmanuel Clase completely imploded, and I'm still not over that, if I'm being honest. However, great game, memorable. I'll never forget that fucking moment. The thrill of that whole game was fucking incredible. And my third favorite Cleveland sports moment is currently still going, as we just discussed. The Cleveland Cavaliers season is awesome. I'm a huge Cavs fan. Obviously, I'm a huge Cleveland sports fan. I have Brownie the Elf tattooed on my leg. I have Chief Wahoo tattooed on my leg. I've got the Cleveland Indians C behind this year. I've got the Cavs C behind this year. Diehard Cleveland sports fan. That's why we're doing this show. Love all the teams, but I love the fucking Cavs. Watching any Cleveland team be successful is great, but the Cavs are just so fucking fun to watch. They get along so well. It is literally like watching best friends, just having the best time every night, and they're continuing to win. They beat the fuck out of the Knicks last week, who have always given them trouble. Again, they beat the hell out of the Orlando Magic yesterday. They had a gritty win, an ugly win against the Memphis Grizzlies on Sunday night, but they are finding ways to win. They're doing it. They're having fun. I love it. I cannot wait for the playoffs to get here, and I am going to be a fucking wreck if they get eliminated. I am not going to want to do a show for probably like a month because I'm going to be very sad. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. I'm not trying to put any bad juju or bad karma onto the team, but I'm just saying I take losses way harder than I take wins. But with that being said, the winner for the favorite Cleveland sports moment, George was very early, but the Cavs season currently is the winner. Thank you, George, for pulling a Steve Harvey.
That was him playing you off the stage. Like,
yeah, I didn't realize my speech was going so long. I'm trying to, George, we have an hour and 4 minutes still of the show. I got to kill some time somehow. God damn. But yeah, the Cavs' current season is so much fun. Again, the Browns win over the Steelers was cool, but at the end of the day, we sucked. It meant nothing for the season. The Steelers still made the playoffs. Had we beaten them and that cost them a playoff game, fuck yeah, it would have been awesome. Didn't happen. Same thing with the Guardians. Guardians beat the Yankees in that game. Epic comeback. Did it matter? Nope. We still lost the series. Yankees went on to the World Series. So whatever. So my favorite moment is the Cavs season currently. Finger slipped. Heard that one before. Am I? That's what my camp counselor used to tell me. I'm just kidding. I've never been molested. That's what she said. She could say that too, right in the old brown eye. But I would hope not. But yeah, so that's my favorite Cleveland sports moment, Cavs current season.
So I'll stick with the memory thing too. I just thought of top memories of 2024, and I'll be honest, I thought I was trying to think about a lot of stuff this year. Last year was an interesting up and down year, but 2 big ones that stick out, and it's nothing against my wife. There's a lot of good memories with Jess. But the 2 biggest ones that stick out is obviously adopting our dog Brady that we got, and my work promotion that I took in December. And to me, honestly, aside, I love what I do for a living, but the winner for me last year, the biggest memory so far has been adopting adopting Brady, who you guys have seen many photos of that I like to take a photo of. He is such a pain in the ass, but such a good boy. He is fit right in perfectly to our family. He's not even 10 months old, but he's already bigger than our other dog. So much energy, so much personality, I guess we'll say, to him. But I wouldn't give him up for the world. He's such a cuddle bug. He just honestly just wants nothing but love and to be loved. So, no, great. We loved it. We lost our dog last year, Bailey, our Chihuahua. And we went a month, and we basically obviously knew what it did to us emotionally, but we saw what it was doing to our other dog emotionally too, and we just couldn't go any longer. So we went out and we adopted a new one, the one that made sense, and he was named Brady from the get-go, and we loved the name, so we stuck with it. I don't have any love infatuation with Tom Brady. It's not a Brady Quinn thing, which is
definitely cool. Brady Quinn in Notre Dame. You were probably like, Brady's not bad. Brady's not bad.
We thought the name was amazing, so we kept Brady as a name. But he's such a good boy. But yeah, so that's it. Biggest memory for me last year is adopting our lovely dog Brady.
I loved that category, the memories. But for me, obviously, Teddy was going to be the winner, so there wasn't even any competition. No need for it. But yeah, no, that's great. That's awesome. Getting an animal is fucking incredible. And the love from an animal that you can give and they can give you back is great. I fucking love it. I'm a cat dad. I've had cats my whole life, and I love it. Every night Nova jumps up and sleeps with me, and they love being near us. So animals are the best.
Can't pass it up. It's the best thing.
Really quickly, another thing I kind of wanted to talk about, football related, that I didn't even think to put onto the sheet. So that's my fault, George. The NFL Combine is starting this week. I think it starts tomorrow in Indianapolis.
I think it already started today, I think. Not actual combine.
Yeah, I think Wednesday starts with like measurements and stuff like that. Then the actual like on-field stuff starts tomorrow. It'll be on NFL Network. I love it. I watch it every year. I want to teach some things to some people. Again, I understand that I am a weirdo with obsessive compulsive issues, and I love this time of year. The draft is my favorite time of year. But I want to teach some people some things. So there's a lot of people that are going to go into it, and they're hyper focused on the big name players. Personally, there are not many things I'm going to learn from big name players. Some things you want to look for, definitely for quarterbacks. It's just really about them throwing the ball. Their hand size is really important. Cam Ward, Shador Sanders, those guys aren't even going to be throwing at the combine, so all that stuff's irrelevant. That's really all you need out of a quarterback is just look at their hand size. Any quarterback with a hand under 9 inches is not good. That's the number one thing I'm trying to tell my friend Bill. Shout out to Bill. I don't even think he watches this, but shout out to Bill just in case. He loves Jalen Milroe. Jalen Milroe's hands were measured in advance of the combine at 8.75 inches. That is under 9. 9 is literally the cutoff, in my opinion. In the NFL, there has never been a successful quarterback with sub-9-inch hands.
That's been such a size queen.
It's just, I go with science, and that's a fact. Because the number one thing for Joe Burrow, when he was coming out, everyone was saying his hands were kind of small. He had 9-inch hands, 9-inch on the nose. Under 9 inches, 0 successful quarterbacks in NFL history. So that's a huge proponent, in my opinion, on looking at a quarterback. My friend really loves Jalen Milroe. I don't think Jalen Milroe is very good in general. I don't like his mechanics. I think he holds onto the ball too long. And I don't like his 8.75-inch hands. So those are things to look at for quarterbacks. Them throwing the ball, think about it. They're throwing routes to people they've never played with before. So if you see a bad incompletion from a quarterback, you can't be like, this guy sucks. Watching those throwing routes really mean nothing. The things you want to look for, you're going to want to look for wide receivers. You want to see their 3-cone drill. You want to see their 40 time, obviously. You want to look at little things like that, how they can create separation, how they can run routes. Then when you look because for me, obviously, I think the Browns are in the market for a wide receiver. So those are things I'm going to be looking for. I'm going to be looking for guys where we could take in like rounds 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't think we'll be using a draft pick on a wide receiver early, and obviously for other positions as well. So little things to look for. Don't look for the household name. When you see a guy like McMillan or something like that from Arizona, you might be like, fuck yeah, I want to watch him at the combine. Look for guys you've never really heard of. Do a little research. Look up scouting reports. Maybe you'll see a guy that he's projected to go in like the 4th, 5th, 6th round, and you've never heard of him. And then you go, oh shit, this guy's actually kind of good. Like I like his size. I like his speed. And then even if the Browns don't draft him, keep an eye on his career. I do that with a lot of players. There's players I really fall in love with at the draft process. And then Obviously, 99% of them don't come to Cleveland because it's so hard to nail a pick. And then you see them come to Cleveland or go to the NFL, and then you watch their career and you go, shit, I remember I really wanted the Browns to draft that guy. He's pretty good. Or you could look at it and go, man, I thought that guy was going to be better. And it's not always about them not being talented. It could just be a situational thing. There could be a wide receiver that you really like, kills it at the combine. He's got perfect size measurables, but then he goes to the NFL and he gets injured and he gets buried on a bench. And because he was a 6th-round pick, he gets released and his career never takes off. Happens all the time. So it's really cool to watch guys like that. Offensive linemen, defensive linemen, or offensive linemen, not really a whole lot to look for at the combine aside from you want to see their strength. 40 times mean nothing for an offensive lineman. If your offensive lineman has to run, that's not a good sign because that means either A, he's illegal man downfield, or that means that the running back must be really fucking slow if your offensive line needs to keep running because your running back should be able to blow past them. Defensive line, same thing. It's
fun to watch offensive, defensive line run the 40 though, just to watch.
Oh, it's hilarious. I like to see who can get the slowest times.
Yeah.
Defensive linemen, you kind of want to look at footwork and handwork and stuff like that. They obviously have the drills where you see them shedding blocks and stuff like that. Those are fun to watch. You see the ones where the guy will shift the football and you see their quickness and how quickly they get off the line. 3-cone drill, also impressive. You want to see footwork, things like that. Same thing with corners, cornerbacks. You want to see their speed, their 40 time, their footwork. So little things to look at. The combine is my time to really get a deep dive into people that I didn't really watch a lot of their games because they're, again, super late round prospects. And you get to see them putting on a performance for their skills. Their mechanics, because that's the key component, in my opinion. Don't look at stats. There's a lot of people who will look at a fucking quarterback's stats in college, and they're like, he's going to be good. I like this guy. Look at how many touchdowns he threw in college. It's that's the most irrelevant fucking argument I've ever heard for a quarterback, because some of the best college quarterbacks of all time are not good NFL players. So looking for mechanics is the number one thing. Looking for footwork, 3-cone drill speeds, shuttle times, 40 times for certain positions, little things like that. That's what you should be focusing on. And again, I always have a great time. I try to make a list for every round. I'll put 5 names in. And last year, I nailed the Michael Hall pick. Everybody and their brother, of course, was asking me, who do I think the Browns are going to take? And I'm like, I think, and this was before the round even started. I knew he was available, obviously, but I didn't know if he'd make it to the Browns pick. And I told everybody, I'm like, Michael Hall. I think Michael Hall is a great fit for this team. He's on my list. He's my top pick. Browns took him. I felt great knowing that. There's been years prior where, it'll be round 5 or 6. I make a list of 5 guys that I like at that point, and then they draft one of them. And I'm like, fuck yeah, I nailed that pick. So it makes me really happy to do shit like that. I think it's fun. That's what keeps the draft entertaining for me. I can say right now, and I'm not too stoked about it, but it happens. I am not going to the draft this year. My plans fell through. Some of my buddies we were supposed to go with that I go with the draft every year, they got some last minute work trips that came up, and everyone just decided not to go. Also, Green Bay has the worst hotel options near the stadium, and because of the draft, they are overpricing everything. Airbnbs are expensive as fuck. Unless I want to share a room with a random guy, because Airbnb lets you stay in someone's house while they're living there, which fuck that, I would never do that. I've seen the movie Barbarian. They're $300 a night to share to get an extra bedroom in someone's house. If you want your own place, you're looking at $500+ a night, maybe even $1,000. Hotels are all fucking ridiculously priced. They're $400 a night is the cheapest hotel, and that's an hour away. So I'd have to get a hotel, $400, $500 a night, drive an hour every day to get to the draft area by Lambeau Field. It's just not worth it. I don't have any interest in going to Lambeau without a game happening. So it's not worth it for me to go to Green Bay to spend, $2,000-$3,000. Next year's Pittsburgh.
Okay.
So next year I'm looking to go. It's just, unfortunately, it's too far out. I can't book hotels yet, but I want to jump on the gun on that and get a hotel and go to that one for sure. Cause that's, a quick drive. It's 90 minutes away. So I'm definitely planning on going to Pittsburgh. It's just a matter of how many of my friends are going. They're all undecided. And the weird thing is that I don't know if people know this. My friends, some of them signed up to get 2 tickets back in the day. So they would fill out a paper. The NFL made you fill out your paper. You had to stay for every pick. This is when the draft was 2 days. So it was Saturday, Sunday. You had to be there from every fucking pick. You'd come in. You had to be there before it started. They'd give you a sheet of paper. And then you had to be there to the end, turn it in on your way out. That's how you got your card every year. So my friend would sit there and he filled out 2 papers. We had a buddy that joined us later. He handed it to him, and he's like, hey, when we leave, can you hand this to them? And they're like, sure. They don't check IDs or anything. So he started getting 2 tickets every year. And we now have a group of like 6 or 7 dudes that want to go. And I think we have like 4 or 5 available tickets. So every year it's always who's got an extra ticket, who's going to go this day. I have my own, so I'm always good. It's just I always have people that want to come with me, and getting those extra tickets is hard as fuck because there's not many to choose from. So my number one thing I have to do, and I'm prefacing for people that have asked me if they can go, because I know Chipper would probably want to go. Dave's going to want to go because it's in Pittsburgh. I want everyone to know that I don't have unlimited tickets. I am very, very constricted to only what my friends can provide me. So I want to clear the air on that for everybody in advance. But I plan on going. So my ticket is accounted for. But right now I can't even get Tara in the door, for God's sake, because I only get 1 ticket. So
hey, can I go with you?
Pittsburgh. Yeah, Kyle is guaranteed a ticket. Even though, and I have no idea. We haven't even discussed the Pittsburgh draft in my group text with everybody.
I would honestly still probably go down, even if you don't have an extra ticket. I'd probably still go down and hang out with you.
They make the experience for people without tickets still a really good time. Like, you can get close, you're right there. For me, you went with me before, so you know what it's like to we get to cut everybody. You get to go right up and you get a seat, you get to sit down. It's kind of cool. In my opinion, the Cleveland draft sucked because they were still doing social distancing. The rumor that I've heard is the NFL is looking to give Cleveland another draft, probably when the new stadium's built, because they feel like they owe it to Cleveland to give them a second chance without COVID, because COVID happened and the draft was all remote, and then it went to Cleveland the next year. But again, they were still doing social distancing, so it wasn't as crowded inside of the arena or like the tent like it normally is. And then the next year it was in Vegas and it was completely fine. They had everybody crunched together. So Cleveland's draft was a little weird. Obviously the weather sucked too for a couple of the nights. But the rumors I've heard is Cleveland is going to be getting a rebuttal, and within the next 5 to 6 years or something like that. So I'm very excited about that. And hopefully by then Teddy's old enough. I mean, I already took her to this one, and but hopefully by then she's old enough and actually cares about football. That would be a great experience to be able to take her, because I can almost guarantee most of my buddies are not coming into town for that. They are very weird, and they're kind of uppity, if you will, is the best way I can describe them. So they look at like Cleveland, Detroit, cities like that. They're like, no, I'm not going there.
You're definitely going to have tickets open for Pittsburgh then, because
more than likely. They haven't said it, but I could definitely see them being like, yeah, I'm not going to Pittsburgh. So I'm waiting for their confirmation. But yeah, Detroit was easy. None of them went.
Just in case.
Yeah, last year I got every ticket I wanted because not one of my friends from the group went. So Detroit was easy. My buddies Josh and Maria, I wanted them to go see the experience the draft. And again, Josh and Maria are Detroit fans. Josh is a huge Lions fan, so that was a great experience for them. But yeah, Pittsburgh, we'll see what happens. But for the Combine, for everybody at home, every Browns fan, watch it. Don't go too much into it. Again, looking at only star players. Try to find a little diamond in the rough. I think that's the most fun part of the Combine. With that being said, let's get into – I'm going to switch it up a little bit. So I give awards to things that I hated also, because I fucking hate a lot of things. You guys know that. I am Larry David to a T from Curb Your Enthusiasm. Worst movie that I watched in 2024. And the winner – or the nominees, I'm sorry. They're all winners in my eyes as the worst movie. Drugstore June was a low-budget comedy movie starring a bunch of comedians. None of them are really good actors. The overall story was terrible. The acting was terrible. And I was really excited for it because it was full of people that I really like. I think Bobby Lee's even in it. It's got Bill Burr. It's got a lot of really big-name people, and it sucked. The Strangers, one of my favorite movies of all time. I literally have them tattooed on my arm there. They did a remake of it, which they're planning to do a quote-unquote trilogy. But this first one was god-awful, and it was like painful for me to watch it. I've never gone back and watched it a second time. I've thought about it, but I haven't yet. Salem's Lot was remade and went directly to HBO Max, and it was not very good. Carry On with Taron Egerton and Jason Bateman was, in my opinion, fucking awful. It was just so outrageous that all this shit could happen in one of the most secure places in the world, an airport. Crazy to think that the guys could just fucking go into the luggage area, do whatever they want. No way. And then Night Swim. I was really excited for this movie to come out. It was super hyped up, a horror movie about these people that move into a new house and there's like a haunted swimming pool, essentially. It fucking sucked. And the winner for my worst movie is Carry On. I fucking really hated it. It was too long. And again, the bullshit that happened in this movie, considering they have cameras, like, I don't want to spoil anything, but the movie's been long enough.
I'm not going to watch
Okay. So there was a scene in there where, like, Taron Egerton, he's, of course, he has to listen to what he's being told by Jason Bateman. Otherwise, they're going to kill his girlfriend or whatever, or blow up the airport, whatever the fuck it was. I forgot. So he's got to do whatever he's told. He works for TSA. So they tell him, you need to be working this booth for TSA because the guy's going to be coming through here. He's not over there. They put his buddy. So instead of just going over there and getting his buddy to leave, he spikes his buddy's coffee and goes and tells his boss, like, hey, this guy's drinking. He smells like booze. So the boss comes over, smells the coffee cup, and just fires the guy. No breathalyzer, doesn't actually smell the guy's breath, just smells the cup and just goes, you're fired. That's it. And I'm like, what the fuck kind of due diligence is that? And again, that's just one of the many, many things that happens in this show or this movie where you're like, how the fuck did he just walk through that? Where's a security guard? Why aren't these doors locked? It's an airport. It's one of the most secure places in the world. And Jason Bateman can pretty much just do whatever he wants.
Maybe it was really 9/11 airports where it was not secure.
Exactly. This is a current movie. This isn't. If they would have said this took place in 1999, I'd be like, okay. But no, there's fucking smartphones and everything. It's up to date. It's just really stupid. Then they have, like, again, I'm sorry for spoiling this for anybody. There's multiple people working on this crew. There's people fucking shooting from the parking lot with a sniper rifle. And there's a guy that walks in to start stabbing people with a knife. And he just walks in, stabs a couple people, walks back out to his car, drives away. No one stops him. Where's security? Where are the police? Fucking just so outrageously bad. I hated it. And it makes me mad now thinking about it again. So, worst movie of the year, Carry On.
I've almost watched
it in the last week of the year. So it was a last second nominee.
I've almost watched it once or twice, and I'm like, I'm glad I didn't now, so I will not watch it. So perfect.
I will say, if that fucking Will Ferrell movie that I watched a few weeks ago, if that came out in 2024, definitely would have been the winner. But it didn't. So maybe next year. Spoiler alert for the 2026 Tabbies.
I will jump to one for me. It's for the books that I've read this year, 2024 last year, 2024 books. I like to either listen to audiobooks or I like to actually read hard copies. It depends on what I'm doing, where I'm going. But you'll notice a theme with mine. So my nominations are Killing the Mob, which is a Bill O'Reilly book. If he has like a killing series, really dives deep into the mob, the history and stuff like that. That book made me jump into Vegas and the mob because a lot of the mob in Killing the Mob is around the Vegas mob and what their history is and how
they created Vegas.
Right. Mm-hmm. How they came out and basically helped create Vegas, right? So I read that book. The Ender's Game, huge. I watched the movie with I think Harrison Ford's in it. So I went back and read the book because I'm like, this movie seems like really rushed, and God, it was. And there's so many details in the book that were not hit in the movie, which is insane to me. The Right Side of History, which is a I forget his name now, Ben Shapiro book, which
okay.
Ben Shapiro is probably like, oh fuck, that guy's off his rocker. But I mean, it's an interesting book, right? But I read it just to kind of, get the whole gist of it. And then Permanent Record, which is the book about Edward Snowden, what he went through working for and what he's done for our government. And for me, honestly, the most interesting book, they were all good, but the most interesting book to me in the winner for last year was Permanent Record for Edward Snowden, the basically biography on Edward Snowden, the shit that he's done, the stuff that he's had to go through, he's seen, he's witnessed. It's scary. And this book is probably, I'd say, 5-6 years old. To think that our technology has more than likely advanced triple times over by that point to what our government can do is insane to think about. I mean, the fact that right now, at any given time while we're on this show, people probably can go into our laptops and just watch what we're doing, right? I mean, everything that's connected to the internet is free game for anybody, right? That's the scary part of it, right? And the stuff they were doing back then, I can't imagine what they're able to do now, but it's a good book. Anything about Ed Snowden to me is interesting. The fact that he was willing to kind of lay it out there and say, this is not right. We should not be doing this to our own people. We should not be watching what our own people are doing because the stuff was invented, right, to be, counterterrorism, right? We were watching what people were doing to prevent stuff from happening. And then we're like, oh shit, well, we can get away with it and do it here. And then the Patriot Act took place and that opened the floodgates of what we can and can't do with our American people. So it's a good book though. I recommend it, but that's my winner.
Oh yeah. I'll check that out. I remember the Snowden movie with Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and it was an awesome movie. And like you said, eye-opening shit.
For sure.
Like scary, to be honest.
It's really scary, yeah.
All right. I'll do another category because I'm not going to lie to you. We don't have a lot more to talk about sports wise. This is pretty much this is our award show, and it's a dead season. George, do you have any you want to do? I forgot to even ask. I feel rude.
I did throw 3 up.
Let's get it. We're getting George into the mix. It took us an hour, but hey, here we are.
Yeah, it's okay. Hey, I appreciate getting the opportunity to throw a few in there. Gonna turn around and go with the TV drama stuff. I know that Paradise was actually a delay that is now running Hulu, but it was supposed to be last year, so I had to kind of combine it in. Really, and I'm pretty well hooked into it now. I believe they've only got one more episode left, but have already been awarded a second season. So kudos for that. Looking forward to it. And I do not want to even try to start to describe it because it will ruin the whole facet of what the whole facet of the show, which is really freaking cool.
You just gotta watch the first episode. At the end of the first episode, it all clicks together, but you can't.
Yes, and with a very good friend of mine being a Secret Service agent presently, I threw this right over to him right away when I've watched the first 2 episodes, and he just went, "Oh, I'm in." And he said a few of his buddies at work are like, "Dude, okay, they got a few things real fast." I was just like, okay. So yeah, I'm totally hooked. It's a great thing to see from the point of view from a Secret Service agent. So it's really cool. The Acolyte, of course, is a Star Wars spin-off and tells a very interesting story of the un-Jedi per se, and was very well, I personally thought was very well written, very well done as a show. I know it didn't really get a lot of numbers, but for a real diehard fan who understands like the in-depthness of what Star Wars was supposed to be, Disney, I think, really nailed this one very well.
Is that the one with the guy from Narcos Mexico?
Yes,
it is. Okay.
Yep. And it was so super well done, and they said George Lucas really did enjoy it too, and he said it was so nicely done. He was very impressed by it too. Brilliant minds, and I just went totally blank on the actor. Jesus,
I've never heard of it, to be honest, so I can't help you.
It is. It's an NBC, and it's the guy who was originally the evil, the villain in Heroes, and was
never seen that either.
And was Spock in the reboot of the Star Trek movies.
Oh, Zachary Quinto.
Thank you. Yeah,
yep.
I was just.
I know my actors.
Yes. So Zachary does a fantastic job with playing this doctor who literally wants to figure out how his patients act and why they are the way they are. And it is a very nice in-depth. In fact, started watching it week by week. And now that the first season is over, I've got like 6 or 7 episodes I get to binge watch because I just couldn't stand waiting every single week. I'm like, no, these guys are driving me up a wall. I can't do this. NBC really, I think, has something, and I hope that they definitely do a second season for it. I believe it's a really, really well done, as everybody's really hooked onto these medical shows. This one really takes it out into left field, and it's awesome. It really
is. I'll check it out.
Ahsoka, of course, is the Star Wars, based on the Star Wars character. It was also very well done. Gave you a little bit.
Sensing a trend here with George's picks. You're a big Star Wars guy, huh?
In depth, yeah. It gave a little bit more in depth background between her and Anakin Skywalker too, as well, and the internal fighting of that. But the winner for me is, of course, going to be the Acolyte. Like I said, so well written.
Interesting.
I mean, the way that they set this up, I was just like, give me more. I wanted more. After this was over, I was just like, oh, that's it. I'm like, no, let's find something else in it. I think this was one they really hit a home run on. Being a true diehard fan, and like I said before, knowing the real ins about the Star Wars, kind of how the universe works and whatnot. And they didn't give you all the, oh, it's the fancy schmancy Jedi, Sith fight. No, it gave you some. It was kind of like Rogue One. They went off script and it wasn't all good. It was a lot of darkness to it, and they did a fantastic job, in my opinion. I thought
Oh,
it was
yeah.
really done.
I will add that to my list. Great picks, George.
Oh, yeah.
Next up, I am going to do my favorite sports moment. And the nominees are the Yankees choking away a 5-0 lead against the Los Angeles Dodgers and then ultimately losing the World Series. Couldn't happen to a better team. I fucking hate the Yankees. They talk so much shit after they beat the Guardians last year. They've consistently given the Guardians troubles and beaten us and eliminated us from playoffs. And seeing them lose a World Series like that was just fucking, oh, God. I wish I could inject it into my body every morning. It would give me the energy I need instead of drinking energy drinks and coffee. My second one is Caitlin Clark. I know that's kind of vague, but what that is just what she was able to do for women's sports. Like a week after Teddy was born, I brought her home. Caitlin Clark broke I'm not saying the two had anything to do with each other, but coming home with a daughter, and then a week later, Caitlin Clark breaks the all-time NCAA scoring record was fucking awesome to see. And then her getting drafted number 1 overall, going to the WNBA, being bullied, I'll be honest, I think it's safe to call it that. She was picked on. She was, people tried to really diminish her skills and say that, Angel Reese is better because she beat her at LSU in college, which that doesn't give a fuck. Who cares? It's the pros. Like, everybody needs to move on. Caitlin Clark just went out there and dominated. She progressively got better and better every single game to where she is now basically turning into the face of the WNBA. And she won Rookie of the Year. And I am more than excited, off topic a little bit, that the Cleveland Rockers are going to be making a comeback to Cleveland. We are getting a WNBA team in a few years. That'll be cool. I get to take Teddy to games. I will 100% be there when the Indiana Fever come to town to see Caitlin Clark. Hopefully, let's knock on wood here. The stars kind of align. Caitlin Clark becomes a restricted free agent in 2029 or 2028, I think, and Cleveland Rockers come to an existence in 2028. So, hey, I'm just saying, Dan Gilbert, if you're ready to open up the pocketbook, Caitlin Clark would look pretty fucking good in a Cleveland Rockers uniform. I'd be very happy about that. And my second favorite moment was seeing Eminem at the NFL Draft. He opened up the show and brought out a bunch of the players from the Detroit Lions. And I'm a huge Eminem fan. He didn't perform, which sucks, but seeing him, 50 yards away, not even from me on stage, was really cool. I really went back and thought there weren't a lot of great sports moments for me as a fan last year. Like, the Celtics won the championship. I fucking hate them, so that didn't do it. The Cavs got eliminated from the playoffs by the Celtics. There was all that drama with the Cavs, with JB Bickerstaff and all that shit. The NFL, the Chiefs won the Super Bowl, which, whatever, doesn't move the needle for me one way or the other. So that's why it was really hard for me to come up with anything. The Browns had a fucking shit year. Not a lot of great things to talk about. So my winner is Caitlin Clark. Again, that it is 100% because of Teddy. I am so excited that hopefully she becomes a sports fan like me, and she'll be able to get to watch one of the greatest of all time, presumably in Caitlin Clark. And it's a great influence for her, hopefully. And again, I'm excited. Cleveland's getting a WNBA team. I'll get to take Teddy. Women's basketball means a lot to me. I coached for a year. I've talked about it before. My cousin, her youth team when she was in 6th grade, they had too many kids. They had to split the teams up into 2. My uncle took one team. I took the other. And coaching those kids was one of the highlights of my life. I remember getting cards from the parents when the season ended of how appreciative they were of me working with their kids. It's just such a fulfilling moment or thing to do to help others and to, turn them into great people, not just sports. They're not all going to go to the NBA or WNBA. So it's great to just teach them how to be good people and bring a little joy to their lives a couple times a week. So great, huge, fulfilling moment for me. And Caitlin Clark just makes me remember those days, and having a daughter really makes it that much cooler. So that was my favorite sports moment of 2024.
That's awesome. I will jump in with my TV shows of 2024 that I enjoyed. Again, some of these maybe didn't come out right away in 2024. Some of them did. Some of them have just been going on for a while. But mine are Landman with Billy Bob Thornton on Paramount Plus. Great show. Shogun, which I think we've all talked about this show before. I think it was a couple
Fantastic.
last year. Great show. Young Sheldon's been on for a couple of years. Obviously, it follows the young Sheldon from Big Bang Theory. The Recruit, which is the Netflix. I don't know if you guys watched it, but it's a season 2 just dropped. I believe end of last year, but it's basically a young kid who's a lawyer. He works for I believe it's the CIA, if I'm not mistaken. Came out and he was thrown literally right into an operator. And it just basically follows him, which is it's funny. It's a good show. And then obviously, last but not least, the Cobra Kai, which is a continuation of the Karate Kid. Came out on YouTube about 5-6 years ago for a season, and we weren't sure it was going to have a season 2. Netflix picked it up, saved it, and now it just finished its technically 6th year, even though they broke it up into 3 parts. But if you haven't watched it, I highly recommend it. A lot of nostalgia, a lot of throwbacks, great show, good story writing. But for me, it was a slow start, but the winner for me is going to be Young Sheldon. A lot of good shows here to pick from. Young Sheldon was a slow start, meaning it just watching a very young kid who played Sheldon kind of get their bearings and kind of act had to be carried a lot by the parents. Fun fact, the mom who plays Sheldon's mom is actually the daughter of the woman who plays Sheldon's mom in Big Bang Theory. That's her daughter. It's funny. So I forget her name in real life, but she was on Roseanne, who plays Sheldon's mom in Big Bang Theory. Her daughter actually plays young Sheldon's mom in the Young Sheldon show, which is great. They look just alike. So great casting, right? Good casting.
That's crazy. I had no idea.
But no, as it got into year 3 and 4, the show started to pick up. The Mima, the grandmother, she plays. She's the woman who's in Ghostbusters. I forget her name, like the secretary in Ghostbusters. She's in there. Coach from Coach back in the day, the TV show Coach. He plays a big part in it. It gets really good. Like a lot of characters start to evolve and it gets better. So much so that Georgie, the older brother of Sheldon, actually has his own spinoff show that me and my wife Jess just started watching too. So I like it. It's a good show, great show. His narrative with Sheldon throughout the show about his growing up and stuff like that. But I recommend it if you like Big Bang Theory, you'll enjoy this show too. So
I'm kind of embarrassed to admit that out of your list, I've only watched one of those shows. I've seen Shogun. That's it. I've never watched an episode of any of the others. Landman is on the list of shows to watch. I definitely will.
You got to watch Landman. I mean,
I've heard that's fantastic. Young Sheldon never really caught my attention because of what you said. Like watching a kid actor is kind of rough sometimes. And to be honest, I'm not the biggest Big Bang Theory fan. I've seen pretty much almost every episode, but it's one of those shows where I truly, in my opinion, I feel like if they didn't have a laugh track, nobody would have liked it. Because some of the jokes aren't that funny. It's just because they have a laugh track. It makes people be like, oh, ha, ha. But then it's like when you really think about it, you're like, it really wasn't that funny. I don't know. I wasn't the biggest Big Bang Theory fan.
Yeah.
And then
there's definitely stuff in there that the laugh track helps. But I mean, there's definitely ones as they get old. I think season 3 and 4 is when it really starts to catch into its own.
Okay.
There's 7 seasons. But once you get into the 4th season or 3rd season, as they get mature and they can start actually talking more adult humor, that's when it gets better. Like it starts getting more onto the group. But you got to power through the first 2 seasons.
And The Recruit I've heard of, but I think I might have just forgotten about it, so I've never watched that. So I'll have to check that out because that sounds like something I would enjoy.
It's a great show.
And then
Reacher on here too, but Reacher just dropped season 3, 2 weeks or last week actually. So if you
I haven't started it yet.
It's a great show too. So
no, I've seen the other 2 seasons. I haven't started the new one.
Oh yeah, this is already.
And then
season 2 was so.
Cobra Kai, I've never seen an episode. I did talk to Tara recently though, and I said, "Are you interested in watching Cobra Kai?" And she was like, "Yeah." So I was like, "All right, cool." So we added that to our list of shows to watch. We're currently watching.
Yeah.
Our order of shows right now is going. We just finished season 2 of Shrinking. We just started Dexter Original Sin. And when we finish Original Sin, we're going to move on to season 2 of Severance. I want to wait till Severance is finished so I can binge through them because I fucking love season 1.
Because I haven't started it yet. Is it good?
It is. It's fantastic. Like it's better than the first season.
Jason,
so Apple's killing it right now. So Severance is going to be next after Dexter, and then I'll have to double check our list. But we've got a lot of shows we're behind on. But I like to binge, so I like to wait till a season's finished, and then it's like, all right, let's when Teddy's down for a nap or if Teddy goes to bed at night, it's like boom, we can watch like 2 or 3 episodes. Let's try to knock them out. Easiest way to do it as a parent.
You watch The Boys, right?
Oh yeah, I'm all caught up with the
You
boys.
see who's coming in season 5? Who they cast in season 5?
No, I didn't.
So you've seen Supernatural before, right?
Yeah, of course.
So the brother who plays in Supernatural just got cast in season 5.
Oh, really? Because they already have the other one in there. So
Right. So they did like a roll call.
I think it's what Jared. I forgot his name. Jared Polchicki or something.
He's like, Jared, round up
Lucky.
the boys, and
Lucky.
like he's standing in front of the car that's from Supernatural. He's like, "What do you mean round us up?" And like it pans away and it shows like the car in the background, and then
That's
it's
awesome.
Season 5, the boys says get Supernatural in season 5. I'm like, oh boy,
I love the boys. I can't fucking wait. Another good show that's on my list to finish when it ends is Invincible, the cartoon. If you haven't watched that on Amazon, it's fantastic. It's a superhero comic, but it's a cartoon show. It's voiced by Steve Ewan, or however you say his name. I forgot, the dude who played Glenn on Walking Dead. He does the voice. J.K. Simmons plays his dad, who is a superhero also. I forgot his name, his superhero name. But it's not your typical superhero show. This one is, he realizes he's the most powerful man in the world. And I'm not spoiling anything because it's on like season 3 now at this point. But Invincible, his dad realizes that he is the most powerful thing in the world, and he's not human. He's like an alien. So he's like, okay, it's my job to like destroy the planet. So he goes on a fucking killing spree, and everyone's like, what the fuck? And you can't stop him because he's the most powerful thing in the world. And then he's about to murder. Like, I don't want to spoil anything. I'll stop right there. But check it out; it's really good. Each episode's like 20-ish minutes.
Is it adult themed? I assume then adult themed.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's on Amazon. It's fantastic. If it's basically like The Boys, but in cartoon form and way worse.
Is it funny too, like The Boys?
Oh yeah, it's great. It's funny. It's really well done. The stories are great. And again, it's just violent as fuck for a cartoon. It's like Invincible.
All right.
Yeah, it's on Amazon Prime.
I'll start watching it tonight.
It's fucking incredible. It's so good. Like, I was so excited when the new season came out a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
So definitely check it out.
Cool.
Let me check the list here. See, do I want to do another sports one, or we'll break it up here a little bit?
I was going to say, you got 6, Kyle's got 3, I got 2.
Oh, I have 6 left.
Uh-huh.
Well, you and
No, I can't. I got 1, 2, 3.
I'm sorry, 5.
4.
You got 5.
Okay, I forgot favorite book. Okay, so yeah, then let's do that right now. I'll take one out. Let's do favorite book. So I didn't realize I did so many. So my nominees are Power of the Dog by Don Winslow. That is a book about the 80s and 90s Mexican drug trade with Felix Miguel, whatever, Aleo, or however you say his last name, from the show Narcos Mexico. It's all based on their characters, but they're given different names in the show. It's about El Chapo. It's about all the people, Ramon, all the names you're familiar with if you've seen the show Narcos Mexico, who were the real people. It's literally all that shit, but with a made-up CIA agent or whatever working. And it goes into like, they do Kiki, I forgot his last name. I haven't watched a show in a few years, but from Narcos Mexico, there's the actual agent that was kidnapped and murdered, Kiki Caballero, I think his name was, something like that. They have a different name for it, but it's the same story about how he was captured, how he was tortured and murdered by the drug cartel. And then the United States decided to fucking go down there, and they did not stop until they caught everybody. And it's basically just a book about that. It's long as fuck, but Don Winslow is a fantastic author. I read one of his books 2 years ago randomly. Somebody just let me borrow it, so I checked it out, and I really liked it. So then I started looking into his other work, and he has a ton of books about drug cartels, and this is a series. So after Power of the Dog, the next book is called Cartels, and that's on my list to read next. Don Winslow's a fantastic author, so if you're into that kind of stuff. Second nominee is Entrances and Exits by Michael Richards, a.k.a. Kramer from Seinfeld. He wrote a book about his life. I think I did it as Just the Tip a few weeks ago, but it was one of my favorite books to read, so that's why it's on the list. And then What Moves the Dead is by, I forgot the name of the author. It's T. Kingfisher. I'm guessing it's a pen name, but it's basically a take on Edgar Allan Poe's poem, The Fall of the House of Usher. And when it started off, it's a very short book. It's only like 150 pages. It's a short story. When it first started, I was kind of bored because I was like, what the fuck am I reading? It's this woman in the woods who's finding like these weird animals. And then you realize they're all like I won't say poisoned, but there's something going on where everything's acting different. And it's not what it seems, where normally a rabbit would run away. These ones are stiff and they just sit there. Just really cool shit.
Cool.
Basically, yeah, but it also is affecting humans inside their mansion that they find. So really cool book. Again, it was a quick read. It was like 150 pages, but I really ended up liking it. And then when I found out after the fact that it was based on Edgar Allan Poe, I was like, okay, cool. That makes total sense. And it really made me like it and appreciate it even more. But my winner, there can only be one, is Entrances and Exits. And that's just because I'm a diehard Seinfeld fan. Michael Richards is fantastic. I always love Kramer. He's the best part of Seinfeld, in my opinion. So reading his book was really cool. I hope the other members of Seinfeld write books, even Larry David. Jerry Seinfeld has a couple books that came out, but they're not really serious. They're not like actual, like a biography or anything. It is more so just him like trying to be funny. So if they all wrote memoirs or autobiographies, whatever, I would love that. But for right now, I only have one, and it's Michael Richards, and it was fantastic. So Entrances and Exits.
Crosses. I mean, it would make more sense.
Yeah, there's definitely a couple chapters about that. Yeah, and he talks about it.
Blemish on his career, that one little daisies.
Or he's still kind of like, oh, it was comedy. It's not a big deal.
He's dying in that hill. He
really downplayed it, and that unfortunately explains why he has still never done anything other than guest star on Curb Your Enthusiasm with the rest of the Seinfeld cast because of that. It ruined his career.
George,
but fantastic book.
Go ahead.
I'll do another one. Yeah, I will do. Let's go with. We'll go best horror movie. My favorite horror movie of 2024. And the nominees are Terrifier 3, Late Night with the Devil, Abigail, Longlegs, and Nosferatu. I just finished Nosferatu technically the other day, but it still counts because it was a 2024 movie. All of these were really good. I really enjoyed them. Abigail was actually kind of a surprise. I didn't expect much out of it, but I actually
liked Abigail a lot. That was a good
I really did. I went into it kind of thinking it's going to be shitty or like kind of lame, but it was really cool. Longlegs, I'm a diehard Nick Cage guy, so he really gets me. I didn't think the ending was that great, but I did enjoy it. Nosferatu is a classic. I thought they did a really good job with the retelling of a movie that was, from the 1920s originally. They did a really good job making it modern.
Can't miss his movies.
Bill Skarsgård is a fantastic horror actor. He is just so talented. Terrifier 3, fantastic. I don't know if you had a chance to see it yet, Kyle. I know you're new to the Terrifier franchise. Terrifier 3, they're just fun. It's just gore and blood and guts and everything. But my winner is Late Night with the Devil, and that is because it came out with a ton of hype. I was so excited for this movie to come to Shudder, which is a horror app that I watch. It came out in theaters. Everyone loved it. It stayed in theaters for a little longer than it was supposed to because it did so well. Then it finally came to streaming, and I watched it, and I really fucking liked it. It's basically about a late night talk show host.
They have like a talk show with something. Is that what it is?
So he's a talk show host, and he basically sold his soul to the devil to become famous and powerful. And this is he's paying it back, and he doesn't realize it. So weird shit starts happening in the studio while they're doing a show. And it was just really well done. I loved it. I thought it was a really cool spin because, it's hard to come up with new ideas nowadays. And I thought this was very original, really well done for it being a low budget movie without any like superstar names in it or anything like that. Like the main guy is the dude who plays the dude with the dots from Suicide Squad. I don't remember his name in real life or in the movie Suicide Squad. But the one with John Cena, he's got the polka dots on him. That dude plays the main role in this. Fantastic movie. I really, really, really liked it. I thought it was a super, just surprisingly good movie. So Late Night with the Devil is my favorite horror movie of 2024.
Awesome. George, you want to do one of yours?
Sure. I'll do my fun one. Best football season. Buckeyes, Eagles, and my Vermilion Sailors definitely pull off the win. Back to back.
I feel like there's a little nepotism behind this.
I feel like
very well coached. These guys have not lost a game. They started their 6th grade career against Black River. They lost that first game and have not lost since. So if you can imagine the rest of 6th grade, all of your 7th grade, all of your 8th grade, and that's all you know is win, win, win. And to be SBC back-to-back years, no less, division conference champs is pretty damn cool.
That makes me think of all the really, really sad players that go from the from NCAA on really good teams that go to the pros and they suck for like 2 years and they're always like, I'm not used to losing this much. They're always so fucking sad and depressing. I find it hilarious.
Well, for our group, it's always been Vermilion football. I heard it firsthand from Huron specifically when I coached the 8th grade the first time around, and they said, "Yeah, Vermilion's just our stepping stone to getting into the championships." And I'm like, "Oh no, you didn't. Okay, fine. Well, guess what? We lambasted for the past 2 years, and yeah, we're no longer a stepping stone."
This is
I
not
love a good rivalry.
It's not the Vermilion I remember going. I went to Edison and we used to smack the shit out of you guys. But all right,
Yeah.
well, I guess you guys grew up a little bit.
Yeah,
Ebbs and flows. It all goes up and down.
Yeah, didn't let them score either. So yeah, Edison. Yeah, yeah, they can. They kind of manhandle a little bit in basketball, but football, torched, no problem.
Hell yeah! Well, congratulations to them, the little sailors.
Yeah, the boys did a great job. A bunch, like you said earlier, it is going to be one of the coolest things that I will always get to remember. And I've done this 35 years between YMCA, rec leagues, and now school.
No kidding.
This has been an amazing thing to accomplish, let alone to do it twice.
Hell yeah.
And has just been, like you said, the parents just love, they love you. They're just so appreciative. The kids love you, and it's all about being kind of like a player's coach kind of thing with them as well. And we just made it a lot of fun. I mean, we had Fun Day Fridays every single day or every single week this year. And it's like,
that's great. I mean, the number one thing you can teach a child, in my opinion, is, and there's a million like cliche quotes about it, but it's always like a coachable kid makes a good, grows into a good adult, whatever they want to phrase it as. Yep. But it's so true of you're teaching these kids to be open-minded and to listen and to take order and to, take what you tell them and use it in a positive way and not like, some kids get mad. You got to learn how to, each kid's different. Trust me, there's different ways to deal with them, but you're teaching them life skills, truthfully.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've told these guys, I've gotten the privilege to coach a few of the basketball teams. And I've told, the one thing I've always told them, no matter what, said, keep your wits about you and be aware of your surroundings and where you're at and the situation you're in, whether it be in the game or in life. And a lot of them stick with that and they turn around and they do it. So it's an absolute blast. I love it.
All right, let's get Kyle a category here because we are reaching closing time.
I'll go with documentaries for 2024. A couple good ones on here. Another theme. Making Manson, which is a good one, kind of where Charles Manson came from. Charlie.
I was scared by your list, just a little.
Sorry, you should see my porn lookup collection. That's a little scarier.
It's literally the same list.
Yeah, it's funny. Years. O.J. Simpson, the new one on Netflix. Homicide in New York. Spacey Unmasked, which honestly thought was very interesting. I'm a huge Kevin Spacey fan, and I'm sorry it sucks he's gone through what he's gone through and accused of what
he's a big fan after all the stuff came out. That's when Kyle really started liking it.
I was until it came up to the kid touching him. Yeah. And then Will and Harper, which is the movie with Will Ferrell and Harper, his friend Harper, the head writer from.
I keep forgetting to watch that. I want to see that.
I know you'd love it. But my favorite one, because I think I probably should have been 2025 because it just came out. But the O.J. Simpson thing to me was the most intriguing documentary that I've watched, only because it's like, what are we doing as investigators to not? Have you seen it yet or no?
No, I haven't.
There's just so much evidence that was never included into the trial, that was never submitted, that was never talked about. People weren't interviewed, and it's like, what are we doing? Like the amount of like jaw dropping, you drop the ball type scenario in this whole thing, and on the other flip side, the getting older and realizing the defense attorneys, the defense team that OJ put together for him was top notch, like the best of the best, right? The route they took to defend this man and the avenue of which they tried to exploit with the LA cops was just as seen on TV. Like it was a movie about it. Like that's how good it was. But it's a lot. It's 6 episodes. I think like an hour long. I think this was my tip a couple weeks ago. But it's so good. Like I was just enthralled from start to finish. But back to the Will and Harper, Justin, you'd love that show.
I want to watch it. I keep forgetting about it, to be honest. I kind of hit a lull with documentaries. I feel like they're making, Netflix especially, they're making documentaries about everything, and they can't just do it like, give me a fucking hour. I only need an hour to explain everything. They're trying to do like, something that could be broken down in maybe 2 episodes. They're like, oh, it's a 6-parter or a 5-parter. And it's like, I don't want to waste 5+ hours watching this. And then a lot of the things, it's like, I feel like I know most of this kind of stuff, like nothing specific, but like there are documentaries where it's like, I can't really imagine I'm going to learn anything, like the Steve McNair documentary. Everyone I talked to about it basically told me what it was about. And I'm like, okay, so did you learn anything new? And they're like, well, no, but it's like, well, I don't really want to waste hours of my life watching something to just go, yeah, I knew all that. So I've been really down on documentaries lately.
That's it right though. Like if anybody comes up to me and says, you want to watch a 6-hour movie? I'm like, go fuck yourself. But what if we?
Yeah, like I want to watch the Adrian Brody movie, The Brutalist, is an Oscar-nominated movie for this Sunday. It's 3.5 hours long. And it has a planned intermission in the middle of the movie, is my understanding, because it's so fucking long. I'll watch it, but it's like when the fuck am I going to, I'm going to watch that over a full week. Like I'll maybe get like 45 minutes a night.
Avenger movies because it's Avengers, right? Because you had to watch it. But yeah, it's tough to get through 2-3 hour long movies for sure. The Irishman, that was a marathon watch.
Not only, in my opinion, was that an awful movie, it was so fucking long, and it was so bad.
Yeah. It was
that fight scene with Robert De Niro beating that guy up outside of the store was one of the worst CGI things I've ever seen. And like it,
Niro, not to get on a tangent, have you watched the 0 Day yet?
No, not yet. Is that out?
It just came out, yeah, with De Niro. It's a good show. It started.
I didn't know it came out yet. Okay.
Yeah, it's 6 episodes or 7 episodes. It just came out, but
what's it on?
It's on Netflix.
Netflix, okay.
It was a slow start to that one, but it was very interesting of what they do and how they do it. You can tell, and I'm not trying to be political here, you can tell it's pushed from the left side a little bit just based on some of the stuff that takes place. And I'll let you form your own opinion once you watch it. But it's other than that, it's still good. It's a good show.
I'll check it out for sure. All right, next up, I'm going to go. I have 3 more categories left. Let's go with worst show. And my nominees are Season 2 of Squid Game, Agatha All Around, House of the Dragon Season 2, The Bear Season 3, and True Detective Night Country. The reason I picked these, and I'll explain, Squid Game Season 2, I feel like have you guys watched it by chance, or are you familiar with it? The way they ended it is okay if they were doing like a mid-season finale, but they're calling that the season. That was the end of Season 2.
Agree.
A horrible way for them to end it. I didn't like that. They really left you on a really big cliffhanger, which I know shows do, but again, the way they ended it was just so abrupt. It felt kind of rushed, and I didn't love it. Agatha All Around is the Marvel show on Disney Plus, and I just really did not enjoy a second of it. I like Kathryn Hahn as an actress. I really thought it would be better because she was really good in WandaVision, but I feel like this show, they had like no story for her. They were just like, fuck it, we're going to try to capitalize on anything we can, so they just made a show. I didn't like it. And I'm not going to lie to you, I'm kind of not proud to say this, but I'm okay with it. House of the Dragon Season 2, it was happening while we were like moving and house hunting. We got a point, we reached a point, Tara and I, where we were both like, this season's not very good, so we'll worry about it later. So we've never gone back and finished it. So I think we got like 4 or 5 episodes in maybe, and we haven't even finished it. I will, but not a priority. The Bear, I've watched every episode of that show. Don't get it. I don't think it's good, in my opinion. It's the least funny thing I've ever watched. His acting is identical to who he was on Shameless. It keeps winning all these awards and Emmys for being like the best comedy. It's not fucking funny at all. I don't understand it. That infuriates me that a show like Curb Your Enthusiasm lost best comedy show to The Bear. That's blasphemy. That's crazy to me. And it makes me want to boycott the Emmys.
The biasism kicking in there too, because it's Larry David. But I mean, that's just.
I just mean like I'd rather it go to any show that actually is funny, because in my opinion, The Bear is not fucking funny at all. There might be like one moment per episode where you kind of chuckle, but it's not. It's a drama. It's not a comedy. I don't understand it. And then True Detective Night Country, I really just never liked it. Like Jodie Foster was in it. It had a cool beginning. I was like, oh, this is going to be sweet. And then it just really was boring and slow. And I never ended up turning around on it. And I like most of the seasons of True Detective, but this one did not do it for me. But my winner is The Bear. And for all those reasons I listed, it literally just, I've decided that if they come out with a season 4, which I'm sure they will because of its success, I'm done. I am tapping out at season 3. I'm no longer going to watch another episode of that show. And that's my worst show
Can't wait
of 2024.
The Bears season 4 might just a tip next year. So
let me know which episode I'm going to take off. I'm not going to be it. I'll leave early. I'll be like, all right, and it's time for just a tip. George, see you later. Click, and I'll just hit exit.
George, why don't you go ahead and give your next one?
All right. Come on. Reality shows. Deal in Radio Island, The Floor, Dancing with the Stars, and The Masked Singer. It's the 4 that Kelly and I are kind of, getting her through, everything since last July. Deal or No Deal Island, neat little twist on Survivor, and Deal or No Deal combination. Everybody gets to be in luxury for a change and not really suffering, but it's getting into its little twist now. The second season's kicking in through now, where there are little alliance things that are really getting stronger. The first season, the alliances were really kind of weak, so it was like a true cash grab per se. And the money being handed out, of course, is left and right, and which is pretty cool, and it's a lot of fun. The Floor, Rob Lowe. I know I've turned Justin onto this bad boy, and it's the concept is phenomenal. Everybody can kind of relate or watch it because it's just guessing a lot of what the categories are about.
And it's such random knowledge. Like there's some categories where I'm like, I'm not going to know a fucking thing here. Then there's other ones where I'm like, boom, 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 nailed them all. And that's what's so cool about it. It's very different.
And even some of them where you think you don't know squat, all of a sudden you're going, hey, I know that.
You're like, oh shit, I didn't know that. Yeah, but like, I mean, you can get a category literally of like, the periodic table, and then somebody else could just do like breakfast foods. Like easy shit like that. It's fucking crazy how wide the spectrum is for the categories. It's really cool. And Rob Lowe's a great host. I'm a big Rob Lowe fan all the way back to him being in Tommy Boy.
And I did turn around and put in my application for season 4.
Did you?
Official, yes. And when they ask you actually for 5 categories that you would be expert in. And of course, my number 1 is MASH. So that's the one that I went with. And I'm hoping to get a call in because I've already seen Star Trek and Star Wars. And it's like, all right, come on, let's do this.
That would be a good category for sure.
I'm ready. Yeah. Dancing with the Stars, of course, it's been through like, I don't know, 20, 30 seasons already.
And we use the term stars very loosely.
Extremely loosely. Some weird reality chick with an ankle bracelet was on last year or something. I was like, oh yeah, we're really getting desperate.
That makes sense.
The Masked Singer, that one's just a fun one all the way around. Spoiler alert, I'll pop it. The one, because it's just started like another season. Oscar De La Hoya was just on. And holy cow, can the dude sing? The dude can really sing, yes. And he said that his granddaughter would be watching it, and he says he can't wait to see her reaction when he gets unmasked. He said it's going to be so
crazy.
Cool.
I bet he was wearing women's lingerie under his costume.
But no, he really could sing. He really sang. He was singing really well. Threw everybody off. It was pretty slick. But my winner, of course, it's The Floor. I mean, it's really cool.
Great show. I'm a huge fan.
Everybody can relate. Bryce even sat there and was like, all right, and started naming things off. And it's like, all right, yeah, this is a pretty cool show for anybody to really watch. And great concept too. Really.
Absolutely. I can't wait to go watch the newest episode as soon as we're done here. All right, I will go again here with I have 2 categories left. I'm going to do favorite album, and I will end with movie of the year. So my favorite album choices are I Want to Disappear by The Story So Far, one of my favorite bands. Long story short, I think I talked about it. They put out an album in like 2019. It was fucking awesome. Then the lead singer, his dad passed away from cancer. He kind of thought he was done with music, and the band was probably not even going to go on anymore. And then he did a side band with like some faster pop punk music. and that got him back into loving music again. And he went back with Story So Far. They made an album. It's fantastic. In Lieu of Flowers by Aaron West and the Roaring Twenties. So Aaron West is a made-up character from the lead singer of the Wonder Years, Dan Campbell is his actual name. They call him Soupy. He did a side project called Aaron West and the Roaring Twenties, where he portrays a guy named Aaron West who just has the saddest fucking life ever. If you ever get a chance to listen to the first Aaron West album, I don't remember what the name of it is off the top of my head, but it's basically about him and his wife divorcing. They have a miscarriage, so they end up breaking up because it ruins his mental state. He becomes an alcoholic, and it's a full like concept album, and all the albums follow this guy Aaron West and his career, how he went from being married to, again, they had a miscarriage, they got divorced, he started becoming an alcoholic, he made a band, and it's just his life, and it's so well done and fantastic. It's a great album and a great concept. The Light Age by Many Eyes, the band led by former frontman of Every Time I Die, Keith Buckley. Peanut by Lil Dicky. He finally put out an album after making great 3 seasons of the show Dave. And then You Won't Go Before You're Supposed To from Knocked Loose, who they were actually nominated for a Grammy for Best Metal Album. Knocked Loose is a fantastic band. If you get a chance, check them out. But my winner is Peanut, and that is strictly based on listening time on my phone with Apple Music. I listen to that album still all the time. If I'm just kind of in the driving, if I'm about to take a long road trip and I want something to just bump to and like love, Peanut is my go-to album. Lil Dicky is so fucking talented and funny, and that album's great. So I listen to it all the time.
It's awesome. I'll do mine. Reddit threads. I'm a huge Reddit person, especially traveling a lot. Before I go to bed, I'll just dive down like Reddit threads and just read stuff. And the ones I tend to always kind of like look into is Today I Learned, or TIL for those who are in Reddit a lot. Life pro tip, unpopular opinion, DIY, because God knows owning a house, do it yourself sometimes is nice to kind of see some tips and tricks to do. And then Ask Science. And my winner for this one is definitely Today I Learned, because it has some of the most off the wall, just random stuff that you didn't realize, right? Like some of the stuff today, I'm just looking at it right now, like Eleanor Roosevelt was actually TDR is actually 5th cousin removed or some shit like that. Like they were related. Like her maiden name was Roosevelt. Like it's crazy. Like didn't know that before. Now you know. Right?
Never knew that.
The human body temperature has declined in the past century. It's lower than what it used to be. Like it's just random stuff. So you click the article and you just read what's the history, like what's the science behind what are.
So they do like back it with information.
So like
Perfect.
Fact, like it's just the human body declined. You click on it, it goes into why it's declined. Where was it a century ago to where it is now, and stuff like that, and what could have caused it, right? So it's just random stuff that like random facts and tidbits you lock away, and while you're out there drinking one night, you're like, hey, guess what? Fun fact, boom. Now I know how to compete with Greg. So that's kind of why I was going to say
this is probably Greg's favorite Reddit page as well, but he calls it fun facts.
Yeah, right. But yeah, that's my category for Reddit thread for 2024.
Hell yeah! All right, George, did you had no more, right? You said you had 3.
No, that was it.
All right, cool. Then I will end here with my final one, and that is movie of the year.
How about I go?
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'll go and you can end it. How's that sound?
Okay.
You want to go? Okay.
Do video games. There you go. So big video game fan. When I can play them, I play them, right? But a lot of good ones came out last year. It Takes Two, which is a co-op
Olsen Twins movie.
What's that?
Which is an Olsen Twins movie.
No, It Takes Two is a dual game, so you have to play with somebody sitting in the room with you. So you guys have to basically co-op to get through certain maps and certain obstacles and certain activities. Indiana Jones came out with the game this year or last year. Really fun game, first person. Great storyline. A lot of maps, a lot of puzzles. I like those kind of games that make you think and have to go through and kind of figure stuff out. Civ 7, which I've been playing Civ since Civ 1. I mean, Civilization.
Yeah, what was that? Because I was intrigued by that title.
Civ 7, Civilization. It's a strategy game. It's a real-time strategy game where you basically build a civilization from nothing, right? And you have to, you grow the economy, you grow your army, you grow and you make trades and deals with other. It's just a really in-depth, like one game for me has taken, I think in one sitting, I played it for 15 hours straight when I was in college. Like it just takes a long time. It's turn-based. So nice. The more you explore the map, the more people you meet, the more empires you meet, and you can go to war with them. You can make friends with them. You can go to it's a long game. It's a fun game. Call of Duty, obviously no explanation for that. And then college football, which came out last year, which I was finally pumped about. I'm pumped they have a 26 coming out this year. It sounds like we're going to keep them churning out every year, which is good. But the winner for me, only because I like doing stuff with my wife, It Takes Two. It's a fun game. It's a marriage tester. I guess I'll put it that way, because there's certain things where you're like, what are you doing? Jump, double jump. No. Hit that button. No. Go over there. No, do this. So it is a marriage tester, but it's fun, and we have a lot of fun doing it. So when we have time, we'll sit down, we'll go through a level together and get through, which it's real. And the storyline's kind of cool too. But if you get a chance, I think something you and Tara might like. You might strangle her too, but I don't know. It's definitely fun.
Yeah, no, we used to play Little Big Planet together all the time. Tara really liked that. So we'd duel. We'd be this, together, and we'd have to, and it's the same thing. It's like, okay, I'm going to jump here. Then you wait, then you jump. And then it's a lot of moments of like, what the fuck are you doing? Yeah. Like, it really does get you kind of testy.
It's definitely fun. So, but that's my video game choice of last year.
Hell yeah. All right. And then, we are going to end it here with the final category before we get into just the tip. And mine is favorite movie of the year. And my nominees are Ricky Stenicki, the comedy with, from Bad Friends, previously mentioned, Andrew Santino, John Cena, and Zac Efron. Saturday Night, the movie of the first episode of Saturday Night Live. Great movie. I love Saturday Night Live. So that one.
I watched it after your recommendation. I watched it, and then I went back.
I thought it was really good.
So good.
And they nailed it. Like the episode, like I think the actors they had for the most part were all really good. They looked good. I really liked it. Poor Things, the one that I think it won Best Picture last year at the Oscars with Emma Stone and Mark Ruffalo. Really good movie, really out there. I enjoyed it. I truly, I know a lot of people shit on it after it won, but I really liked it. The Coffee Table, which is kind of an unknown movie and foreign film. I believe it's in Spanish. And then The Zone of Interest, which is another foreign film that was nominated for Best Picture last year. But my winner, there can only be one, is The Coffee Table. And the reason is because I love a good thriller and a movie that kind of makes you feel uncomfortable, because I've seen every type of horror. I have gone as far as I watch like French extremity films. I've watched a Serbian film, which I tell a lot of people to watch. It's one that if you've never seen it, I can't recommend it enough. It's something that you're never going to feel the same after again. I try to find like the most horrific things out there because I've seen every horror movie for the most part, and nothing makes me like feel anything. This movie made me feel some shit. So long story short, it's pretty simple. I'm not spoiling anything. The movie starts off with a man and his wife. They go to a furniture store, and they're buying a coffee table for their new apartment. The salesman's basically trying to sell them this like sleazy looking stupid one that's like, it has mermaids at the ends, and it's just really cheesy and corny looking. It's got a big glass top, and the guy's like, oh, this is the best table you can buy. It's indestructible. It's fucking fantastic. And the guy's like, oh, I want it. And the wife's like, this is so ugly and stupid. We're not buying it. He's like, no, I think it's great. So she's like, fine, get it. So he's like, okay, we're taking it. He buys it, gets it home, and he's watching their newborn baby, and he slips, falls, crashes through the coffee table. Baby, go bye-bye. The baby did not make it. And his wife is out at the store, and he then quickly tries to clean up, cover everything up, throws the baby in the crib, and tries to go on with the day, not telling his wife that the baby just got decapitated by their coffee table. And the whole movie is him trying to remain calm, keep his wife out of the room, and hide everything. And then they have people come over for a dinner party, and he's like, oh yeah, I'll go check the baby. You stay there. I'll check the baby. And everyone's just living their lives like normal, but you're sitting there going like, oh fuck, who's going to go in? Who's going to find it? And it's like a really great thriller, but it's kind of funny also. Like it's not a horror, it's not a thriller, but it's also kind of a comedy. Really good movie. I loved it. Again, it's in Spanish, so you'll have to watch it with subtitles, but
fucking movies, man. Like
it's crazy. And again, this movie came out after Teddy was like 2 months old. So I'm sitting at home, Tara's at work. I'm watching my newborn daughter for the first time, and I'm watching a movie about a guy whose baby just gets decapitated. And I'm like, oh, fuck. Like, it made me just like, it was crazy. I loved it. I still feel the emotions from it. It's so good. My favorite movie of 2024, The Coffee Table. Can't recommend it enough.
Wow. Awesome.
And now it is time for everyone's favorite segment, Just the Tip. Mm-hmm. And we, of course, start off with Kyle here.
I got a theme. I ended thing with some video games, and here's a new one just came out.
A nominee for 2026.
It should have been, yeah, exactly. I am all about like chill, like kind of decompressed games sometimes, especially after work, or if I just want to kind of take an hour to myself to whatever. But I'm a huge fan of golf games. 2K23, obviously 2 years ago, came out. It was a fun game, very in-depth kind of game to it, but it was missing some features, right? 2K25 added a lot of my career features. It's just chill to go play 18 holes of golf. It's a challenge. It's a challenging game. It's not as easy as like Tiger Woods, where you just pull back the swing stick, you push it forward, and the ball goes straight. This actually requires you to, make sure you're pulling the swing stick down in the right way and pushing up, so you have a clean hit so it goes where it needs to go. Or you need to build out your character so you have the right mechanics that you're really good at it. So it does have TPC Sawgrass as a course, yes. But it's a fun game. So I created my own guy. I've been going through, and I think I'm like through the Corn Ferry, which is kind of like their G League or their AAA affiliate, where you have to like earn your stripes before you can actually get a PGA card. But it's fun. It's a relaxing game, non-stressful, not fast-paced. You can go online and play against people if you want to, like heads up, like 9 holes head-to-head. And it's just a really chill, laid-back game. The graphics are great. The mechanics are amazing. So if you like golf games, you love golf, this is something I think that's kind of just relaxing, fun to play. Once you learn how to get the swing down and everything, then it's not as stressful after that point, but it's just one of those things where it's fun to play. So I recommend it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's one of those games also that Tara and I play together. One of the PGA Tour games from a couple of years ago was like free on PlayStation Plus, so I downloaded all of them, like all the free ones.
Yeah.
And I don't remember which one it was. It's like from 2 years ago or something like that. And we created it ourselves. Tara and I play it all the time. She plays as Tara. I play as Justin. We do tournaments and shit like that. We're very competitive with each other. So we play it all the time. Very fun. Golf video games are fucking awesome. My tip for this week was a last minute addition for George. Thank you, George, for getting that. Big Jay Okerson, one of my favorite comedians. He's doing a special called They Them. It's a 2-parter. This one is called Them. They comes out, I don't remember when it's said, but it comes out sometime this year. So he goes to a Denver comedy club, and he does all crowd work. And I personally am not a big crowd work fan for the most part. I feel like a lot of comedians use it as a crutch. Like, for instance, and I'm not just trying to shit on comedians that I don't like, but like Matt Rife, for instance. Matt Rife is known for his crowd work, but like I've seen his clips. I personally don't really find it that funny. A lot of times he'll like just look at a woman and just basically try to like sexualize himself. And it's like, it's just lame. I don't know. It's like, it's not funny. It's not clever. Jay Okerson literally sits down with no material, looks at people in the audience and just goes. And it's all making fun of them. And like, it's like Matt Rife basically tries to use himself as like the thing. Jay Okerson just talks about the people in the crowd, and he does a bunch of callbacks. It's fucking great. I was watching it last night. That's why it was such a late edition. Sorry, George. But I was watching it yesterday. Literally,
better ones.
Oh, 100%. It's so fucking funny. Like I laughed more at this than I have in most specials I've seen in a long time. It was great. I can't wait for the follow-up. They show a little clip of like what's to come in the next one, and I'm like, oh, this is going to be good. But Jay Okerson's such a good comedian. We've seen him together. He's fantastic. His actual scripted material is fantastic, and his crowd work is next level. And this show seriously is him. He goes and sits down on a stool, and he just riffs on the audience. That's it. There is no material in there at all. He's a great comedian. Fantastic show. Check it out on YouTube. It's free, and it was so fucking good. I found myself again laughing my ass off multiple times. Yeah, April 20th. Okay, so 420 he comes out with They. So check out Them on Netflix from Jay Okerson.
Watch that tonight while I'm eating a late dinner after my shower, because I'm a huge Okerson fan. No one.
Please, when you're finished, please text me your thoughts, because I think you're gonna fucking love it.
Okay, I will. Yeah, I mean, when we've seen, I think we've seen him twice in Cleveland, and that's a show.
Yeah.
That's a show where we make sure to sit in the back.
Yes, don't get me wrong. Like I get it. Like I'm not the kind of person that's going to try to like out funny a comedian and like make the show about me. I would totally get riffed on. I don't care. But like I also would rather just be able to sit back and enjoy. I love comedy so much. I would rather just sit there, let me be a fly on the wall and just observe. I fucking love it. But yeah, check it out on YouTube. It's great. And he was actually just in Cleveland not that long ago. But it was like. I couldn't make it. With Teddy, it's just hard to get like a sitter. We had enough events going on that weekend. I was like, nah, as much as I would love to see him. Like today I saw Louis C.K. announced a tour, but he's going to be in Akron on August 22nd.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's doing the same theater, the Akron Civic Theater in Akron, Friday, August 22nd, but the prices are kind of high. After fees for fucking last section nosebleeds, it's over $50. So it's like, do I really want to spend over $100 to sit in the fucking nosebleeds? It's like, I'd rather just wait. I know he's going to put the special on his website and it's going to be cheap as hell. I was like, I'll just wait till the special comes out. Because again, now that I have a kid, it's a whole to do. We have to get a sitter. We have to go to the show. It's going to be hundreds of dollars. I was like, as much as I love Louis, I'll wait. But yeah, check out Jay Okerson's new special. It's free on YouTube. Give him a play, give him a view, and thank me later because it's fucking hilarious. So that's it, everybody. We will talk to you in 2 weeks. I appreciate you all for joining us for the 2025 TABbies. And I think it went very swimmingly, except for George spelling it wrong in the middle there. But hey, I got over it. All right, everybody. I'm going to go eat and watch The Floor and the TV show, not literally watching my floor. That would be weird. And we will talk to you in 2 weeks. Kyle, safe travels. Enjoy your trip. Hopefully everybody's happy and healthy in 2 weeks. And we will talk to you all then. See you later. Cleveland, that was for you.